Hello, hello. On today's show, I'm going to talk about a bunch of mid stuff. Mike says he's got a new favorite artist to add to his list, and he'll tell us about it on his review today. And lastly, Pat says he's got a crowdfunding sandwich with all the fixins to show us. Welcome to your favorite live streaming whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space by Xcellar Comics. I'm Kevin, your outlying reviewer, and I'm not alone. Mike is here, thank goodness.
Howdy. What's up?
Howdy. And then also, thankfully, Pat.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, Pat?
Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday. Yes, this is a special presentation of our broadcast. But before I get to that, I just want to let everybody know, you can probably tell with things going not exactly perfectly, Karen's not here. She unfortunately couldn't make it here with us today. Oh, but we do have somebody watching already. Stingray Gaming. Woohoo, my favorite live streaming and whatnotting podcast. All right, hey, Stingray. That is Maximus. What's up, little buddy?
What's up, Max?
All right. So, yeah, first thing is we are here today because I had some issues yesterday. Wasn't feeling well, so we couldn't manage to do that show yesterday, so I apologize for that. And then of course we skipped it to today, and then now Karen's not feeling well. Dadgummit.
Yeah.
What can you do? It's tough to have everyone all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then you know what else happened? Oh, here, how about I do this too? I'm not the most important one in the room. You know what else happened too is as soon as I started the show, or as soon as actually the show went live at the end of the countdown, my screen went into sleep mode. The screen that had my teaser notes. So that's why I was like butchering that a little bit. I'm like, dadgummit, I can't, anyway. Well, what are you going to do,
Yep. What are you going to do? Just roll with it.
So, yeah. And then, we're actually, I didn't even think about this until I was setting up the show, that we're actually our next show is actually intentionally going to be Sunday anyway. Right, Mike?
Yeah, is it? Remind me. I'm not saying it isn't. I just don't remember.
It's record store day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I was just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's record store day. So next show will be on Sunday too.
Yeah.
Did you want to promote some of your records? You kind of tongue in cheek, but I don't know how serious you may have been, Mike, referencing how we could have a music episode. You were just talking about a lot of music right before we started here today. Do you want to talk about a couple of your favorites that are going on right now? Be a good way to tag them.
Yeah. You can the number one is the new Murder by Death record. You can go over on Kickstarter and back that. They do everything themselves. They set it all up. They ship everything as a band. So that's very hands-on, do-it-yourself type of stuff. So
that's awesome.
Them out. And don't let the name scare you away. I always see these lists like the most the band names that don't fit the type of music, and they're always on it. This thing, Murder by Death, which is they're just named after a Neil Simon play and movie from the 70s. It's kind of like Clue, everybody's up at this mansion, there's a murder. And everybody's in it. Everybody that's anybody back in the 70s is in it. Peter Sellers.
I definitely fell for that when you first told me about Murder by Death, when you first were starting to talk about him and everything. I was like thinking it was going to be some kind of heavy thing. Yeah, heavy Cookie Monster metal that some depressed kid would be listening to in his garage or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the other one you just recently found, but
the Tragically Hip.
Are they making new music?
No. Gord Downie, the lead singer, passed away in 2017.
Well, I think people get new lead singers, so I didn't know,
Oh. No, they've always had that mindset, kind of like REM did, but then REM kind of went away with it. If any of them weren't in the band, then the band no longer exists because it's accumulated.
That's what it should be. Just change the name of the band.
Yeah.
If you want to continue making music with a new lead singer, especially, right? Just change the name of the band. Do you feel that way too, Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys do that. They go off and do their own things, solo projects here and there. But yeah, you just never get that same magic. You should. And who's Linkin Park, without Chester Bennington? It's like, is it still Linkin Park? They're going on with the name and touring and singing all the Linkin Park songs. But so I don't know. I guess they all have different ideas.
That's actually Linkin Park was going to be my second example. My first example would be Journey, because I didn't even realize until I saw Journey and Def Leppard this past summer that the new lead singer of Journey's been the lead singer of Journey far longer than Steve Perry ever was.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but Steve Perry is still my Journey lead singer. So
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they didn't do it either, so I guess it's okay. What say you on that, Pat?
Yeah, I think it depends on the makeup of the band. How much input the person that leaves or passes away had to do with the overall structure of the band. Yeah. So yeah, it just depends, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
I like what the Tragically Hip and REM both had the same idea on royalties and credit on the album. It's like no matter who did what. With REM, sometimes they played different instruments and they all had different writing responsibilities on different albums, just whatever they were inspired to do on each album. But the Tragically Hip, I think most of the guys, they did their own parts, their own guitar parts, bass parts, and Gord's singing and their lyrics. But everything was split evenly. With REM, it was 4 ways. And with the Hip, it was 5 ways. Nobody got more because they wrote the lyrics. They didn't get the publishing rights for that. It was split 4 ways, split 5 ways. And I think bands are better that way. There's no animosity towards the lead singer or the lyricist that's getting boatloads of cash, and the other guys are kind of just treated like a backing band, so I like stuff like that.
Yeah, me too. That's probably how you keep a band together too. That's for sure.
I agree.
Nobody feels underappreciated, even if they aren't the front man getting all the groupies. They're still getting paid as well as the front man. That's fair.
Yeah, because you take anybody out, and that what they bring to it is just gone.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say too, real quick, before we actually get into comics and collectibles, is how when Napster came around, that was the end of the music industry. All that,
Yeah.
I feel like YouTube and YouTube-like things in the future are gonna be the end of the music industry in the way that, like you're saying about how Murder by Death produces themselves, makes it themselves, ships it themselves. It's like it seems when people start doing the dollars and cents of how much they can make just by cutting out the actual big boys that are just the middlemen. Promote, I'm not saying they aren't worth anything. It definitely seems like most people get the short end of the stick, though, when it comes to dealing with the music industry. So that's what will happen. Either people will kick the music industry out of the deal, or the music industry will change their ways and they'll actually give more money to the actual artist to stick around. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Because I feel like at some point people are going to be as good as the product that the music industry is producing and publicize themselves just as well, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think there's always going to be artists that don't want to, they just want to, I mean, the pop stuff where you've got writers that write the music and then somebody, maybe they can't write songs, but they have an amazing voice.
Yeah.
So they can come in and kind of do stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's always going to be a need for it. But
yeah, there'll always be a One Direction and Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
And all the others that I don't know that would be an example of that.
But then you're always going to have the DIYs, the garage bands, the high schoolers that are creating a band that come out and they end up doing it themselves. So
yeah. And then guys like you will find them and then buy their T-shirts.
You think, but I always ignored the Tragically Hip because I thought it's like I never saw videos or interviews or pictures. I thought they were just like some kind of jam band, like the Grateful Dead or something, which I'm not a fan of the Dead or the Fish, so
yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to listen to them.
Well, I always think it's funny, Pat. I don't know whether he's done this with you or not. I think we all talk about Mike has definitely been one to help us all get to find kind of independent comics we never would have heard of if we weren't friends with Mike. But then also I feel the same thing with music. Mike will share like music with me from videos of a band that has like 3 views and like 117 like a band size that's our show size. Mike finds them
for sure. Yep.
Yeah. Which is awesome, Mike. We all love that about you.
Thanks. One last drop. Mountains of Jura. I think that's how you say it. Jura. They're out of California. They're really good. I just got second record. Well, they have 3, 2 on vinyl, 1 on CD. I don't buy CDs anymore. So I got to get these guys to press that one on.
Well, you could just buy it because I'm in the market for a boombox. I'm going to have one soon, so you can borrow my boombox if you need to.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, we ready to get into talking about comics and collectibles?
Yeah, let's talk about comics.
Okay, let's start off with the segment that talks nothing about comics or collectibles. All right, I just want to put this up real quick to respond to a comment. Max is informing us that if Daredevil Born Again comes up at any point, I'll be forced to get out of here. He's looking forward to watching it. That's fine. You don't have anything to worry about here today, Stingray, because we reviewed it we reviewed the first 2 episodes last week, and I was going to give it another couple. We'd probably wait till the season finishes before we kind of give a recap on it. So you don't have to worry about any of that today. Stingray Gaming.
Good.
A Maximus.
I'm still on season 1 myself.
Does that sound like a good plan, right, Pat?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like I think when we first started doing this, we were, especially on shows, we were reviewing the same show every episode, as it came out. And I can't remember exactly what changed my opinion on that, but I was just thinking it'd be better to kind of talk about it when it's first hot and comes out, but then just follow up later. I figured that'd be a good way.
Yeah.
If you feel differently and you'd like to hear about every episode, let us know in the comments. Comments work wonders on us. All right, cool. First up for me, I got to see the new animated movie, The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. This is streaming free on Max and well, if you pay for Max, of course. But I'm not exactly. I think this is 3 weeks old, something like that. Is that when it came out? Pat, do you remember? Oh, you don't have Max. Dadgummit.
No.
Yeah, I think it's about maybe 3, maybe a month. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it's really new. This is in line with the live action Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson. I guess Peter Jackson was a producer on this. It says Peter Jackson presents, but I don't. But then looking at the screenplay and stuff, he wasn't in the. When I was looking at that, so he's just a producer on this, and probably got paid a boatload of money just to attach his name to it because it does follow the lore of the movies as well.
Kind of probably helps separate it from the
Rings of Power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it because feels like that would be a negative if although I'm seeing a lot of reviews with the Rings of Power that the reviews overall from I think, and it's from people like me, from people that aren't real Lord of the Ring purists. It's okay, it's all right, but it's just nothing great. And then if you love Lord of the Rings, people are mad because of how much it's not Lord of the Ringy. So but anyway, this movie takes place 200 years before the first Lord of the Rings. Mike, did you know how old Gandalf is or was in the movies?
No, if they said it, it never stuck into my head.
Do you have a guess?
I would guess he's 100.
Pat, do you have a guess? Or do you know?
101.
This isn't Prices Right.
Oh.
But Pat's probably gonna win.
No, according to my research, he's 2,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
That
Okay.
one. Son of a gun.
And the biggest reason I looked that up was because, spoiler alert, Gandalf is in this movie. And well, sort of. That won't be a spoiler. I'll tell you sort of in this movie, but he definitely is alive during the events of this movie. And Sauron is in this. He's in this movie, so this is definitely a nice fit for the Lord of the Rings, and a couple other cool things about it that I won't kind of get into the whole thing specifically, but you can see in the poster that you see the big giant eagle in the background, which are infamous at the end of Lord of the Rings, where they actually save Frodo from Mount Mordor. Am I nailing all these names right out of geez? It's like I took my ginseng this morning or something. But anyway, the eagles that saved Frodo? Yeah. So this movie establishes the relationship with those giant eagles, which I think is pretty cool because those are probably one of my favorite creatures in all of Lord of the Rings.
It's good to establish a relationship with the giant eagles because then where else would you buy your groceries when you're in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
That's true. Is that a Pennsylvania inside joke, or do other states have giant eagles? I don't even know. Do you, Pat?
Probably some in Ohio, West Virginia, maybe. But
okay, but just local around there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I always thought it was just a local thing up in Western Pennsylvania.
So the other thing that this movie establishes, which is even cooler to me than the giant eagles, I'm not going to be able to say that ever again.
I know.
Is Helm's Deep, which is the fortress that they defended in Return of the King. Well, I think they started defending it in the Two Towers, and then they of course a lot of the battle happened on the outside of it during Return of the King. If I'm remembering that all accurate. Am I accurate there, Pat?
Sure, Kevin. I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. They used to be called something else, and this movie explains why it's called Helm's Deep. So I'll leave that for you to find out too, if you care. I've said it a million times on this very broadcast that I love me some lore, so that works for me. This movie mostly follows the princess you see in the middle there, Princess Hera, and some old childhood friend there on the right. He's very mean. He's a bad guy. And then her father's the big guy that's looking kind of like a mix between Thor and, whatever. So I'm going to give the War of Rohirrim a solid 7.5 smiley faces. It's fine. It's good stuff. But I did say I'm not a Lord of the Ring purist, so I hope the Lord of the Ring purists have given it a good rating. I haven't actually followed up on my opinion on this one. Oh, speaking of that, I guess I should mention that I'm fully willing to eat crow, so I'm going to do it right here, right now. My opinion was definitely way off base with Paradise. See last week's review. Mike's got the mainstream opinion of Paradise. Everybody loves it, apparently. I am an outlier. That's why I actually tagged myself the outlying reviewer today, because of my debacle with Paradise from last week. So Mike was accurate with his first response in the show last week when he was like, when I mentioned it was like Batman and Robin, I was referring to Mike's opinion. Mike's like, yeah, you might be the outlier. And I'm like, no. But Mike was right. This is a Batman and Robin situation, apparently. In the opposite end, I'm the only one that thinks it sucks. But to follow up on that too, Pat, you were watching Paradise. Did you finish it?
No, we're only 3 episodes in.
And it seemed like from our text chat for a minute, you were enjoying it though, right? So you're probably going to land where Mike is. Yeah.
Yep.
Mike, do you want me to make a Kevin, Mike was right, Kevin is wrong video like I did back in the day again? Do you want me to make one of those for next week?
Yeah.
God damn it. I thought you were gonna say.
No, it's right.
No, I'll do it.
This will suffice. This is
okay.
But also, yeah, it's just what you thought of it, and that's your natural opinion. And I'm fine with it. I was surprised because
Yeah.
I like it. There's dang it. There's another show that I was going to tell you to watch because it's awful. Okay. And not because I want you to watch terrible things, but Emily and I thought it was going to be really good. Oh, Adolescence. I think it's 4 episodes on. Is it on Max? But it's a British thing, and the unique thing about it, and it kind of annoyed me after a bit, is as soon as it starts, it's one camera shot the whole way through. I think it's like 40 to 50 minutes long.
Shut up.
One camera shot all the way through.
There's not one cut?
No cut, no edits. I think the first episode they did it in like 2 or 3 takes, and I think the 4th episode, I think it took them like 14 takes to do it. It was kind of neat, but it gets old real fast. And then it's like a kind of like a murder mystery type of thing. But by the last episode, I was just like, come on, really? I just didn't enjoy it.
Well,
the first episode was good, and then the second episode was okay. The third and fourth, I was just like, this is a waste of my time.
Well, I definitely want to check it out just to see what a show that is filmed like that is made. Just like you said, that's what originally attracted you to it. You said,
not necessarily. It's just it just looked kind of cool. And then once we started watching it, Emily pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why it's a weird. It's just weird.
That's very. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I want to see it just for that.
Yeah, I think Alfred Hitchcock did that with Rope. I think there's one cut scene in the movie Rope, but it's Alfred Hitchcock. It's really good.
All right. Next up for me is I got to watch The Electric State on Netflix.
Sorry, I blew my nose. I forgot to hit mute.
I thought you were yelling for me to stop. Is this? I was guessing maybe this might have been the one you were watching last night.
Yes.
Ha! Nailed it. Nice. Love being right. Did you finish it or did you just watch part of it?
Well, we'll get into it.
Okay. Pat, have you seen this?
No.
Are you is it something that's on your list?
I don't know. It seemed weird enough that I would probably want to catch it. But
yeah. Well, yeah, like I said already, this is on Netflix, and this has Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt in a futuristic or a dystopian future where robots have taken over the planet. Well, it's a little deeper than that. So we created the robots to help us better our life and be lazy, and they do all the work. Then they felt underappreciated, so they rebelled to be themselves. Then we found a way to kick their butt, and now they're kind of living in this wasteland. Basically, when we were in the Robot Wars, Mike, and you can help me. This is why I love you when you guys watch something I watch too, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. Then in the Robot Wars, we nearly destroyed the world, right, Mike? That's why most of the world is like really dystopian, right?
I think I didn't pick up that we nearly destroyed the world. I think we were losing to the robots, but then
how the world gets so messed up? How the world gets so Mad Maxy then?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's that the wars decimated a lot, and then that new technology where people can kind of mentally be in two places at one time by putting
that's right. Yeah.
It kind of created a more lazy society.
That's true, right? Yeah.
Just kind of fell apart, continue to fall apart. There was no rebuilding.
Yeah. So that's essentially that's kind of how we figured out how to beat the robots, because there was this new technology that was invented where like Mike was mentioning, that you can be in two places at once. Essentially, you can be chilling in your living room and be on vacation in Hawaii and be gambling in Las Vegas at the same time. And utilizing this ability too that's what really kind of gave them the edge in beating the robots too. And that's the first thing I'm going to say about this. And I didn't even note this until I'm talking right now, that it's not even on the poster. The way people look when they're kind of having this out of body experience in their robot body, I thought was so goofy. That was something, Mike, you know what I'm talking about, when they have like these funnel faces.
Yeah, and then their whole face is right in that. Yeah, it's like a small TV screen of this big head that goes. Yeah, it just didn't.
It's kind of funky. I thought that choice was kind of interesting. I got over that pretty quick though, but that was kind of, I thought it was goofy. Then you can see in this poster. Oh, I got a sidebar too. I just read something about Millie Bobby Brown yesterday. Do you know Bobby's not really her middle name?
Yeah.
Did you see that in the Chris Pratt or the
No.
With the interview she was with her? How'd you know, Pat? Do you know Millie Bobby Brown?
She's a good friend of mine. No, I saw an article a couple of weeks ago, I think, with her explaining the whole thing.
Do you want to guess what it is, Mike?
Millie Billy Brown. I don't know.
You're so in line. My first thought when I read that the headline was that her Bobby isn't really her middle name, I was like, what is it, like Tina or Marie or something? You know, Millie Marie Brown. She was trying to be catchy, but it was Millie Bonnie Brown. So my first thought is, how is Millie Bobby Brown more catchy, or you like that better than Millie Bonnie Brown? It's like so similar anyway, right?
Yeah, I don't like the Bobby Brown. It reminds me of Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that guy.
But now her name's Millie Bonnie Brown Bon Jovi. It is. Truth.
Oh, did she marry Bon Jovi's son?
Yes.
Son of a gun. That's so crazy.
Bon Jovi, not Bon Jovi, I guess.
Man, I couldn't quite get my mute before I started talking from my laughter there. Yeah, that's what else is crazy about that too. I didn't even know Bon Jovi's name was actually Bon Jovi either. Did you know that before all this with Millie Bobby Brown too, Pat?
Yeah.
Did you know that, Mike?
I heard some stuff, but it didn't really stick. This reminds me that I've heard it before, but I forgot.
Yeah, I didn't know it until I think Lexi pointed out to me that they got married whenever it happened. I guess it happened a while ago. Well, recently, but a while ago. But I was like, Bon Jovi, what? Yeah, now it's Millie Bobby Brown Bon Jovi. What makes it even funnier too is the interview with Chris Pratt. She actually tells Chris, well, Bobby's not actually, or no, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he thought she changed her first name. Oh, she said that's not her real name. So my real name's Bonnie. So he thought she changed Millie. So he thought her name was Bonnie Brown.
That's hilarious.
It was funny. So anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, this little robot guy. So, okay, first of all, looking at the poster, the little robot guy to the right that's underneath Millie Bobby Brown. Do you remember the character's names, Mike, since you just watched it?
I don't.
Okay, I'm just going to say Millie. So the little robot underneath Millie there, that's actually her brother. That's essence or soul or whatever has been transplanted into that little robot.
I think it leaked. Like, yeah, they're using her brother's brain.
Yeah.
To run everything.
Yeah,
and there's a little tiny, the way I met, there's a little tiny hole left in the system where parts of his mind, could leak out. That's a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like what?
Not physically.
Yeah, I was gonna. So I'll get into that more here in a second. But then the big robot, that's still a little robot, in front of Chris Pratt, is his buddy. It's just this cool buddy. And they get put together because Millie's out trying to save her brother, and I can't remember exactly how they get mixed up, but then they get kind of wrapped up in the same people chasing them, and that kind of brings them together to then help the robots, or they're trying to save her brother because her brother really exists in this place where his brain is being used to control the ether or whatever, the whole whatever, all the robots.
I think it's the whole system where they're using his brain to run the whole system that allows people
transporting their brains. Yeah,
to do that separation thing.
Right.
And she thinks the whole time, or she thought her brother was dead.
Right.
Up until a certain point. Yeah.
Well, basically, when the robot rebellion happens, they tell her that her brother's dead. But then this little robot, the yellow guy there in front of her in the poster, comes up to her saying, "Hey, I'm your brother." But he can't talk. He's kind of like Bumblebee in the way he can only change the radio dial and kind of,
Yeah, he has like these default like phrases.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. His robot is a cartoon, so that's where he gets all the default phrases from. So he basically convinces her, "Hey, I'm your brother. You need to come save me." So she starts out in that adventure, and then she comes across Chris Pratt, which is he's a great like 80s, 90s nostalgia buff. So there's a lot of that in this movie too, which I thought was pretty fun. But and without getting into too much of spoiler with any of this, this is fun. It's silly. It's goofy. I actually think the worst part of this movie is the premise. So I can understand, let's use Terminator example. I can understand a computer that's been designed to help humanity coming to the conclusion that humanity is bad and wanting to destroy it, which is essentially what Skynet does. Man, I am nailing. My memory's on point this morning. Skynet, because I was just I almost said, what is it called, Pat, again, right before I said Skynet, but I remembered it on my own, Pat. So I let you off the hook. So anyway, I can imagine robots deciding that humans are the problem and wanting to exterminate them. I can see that logic based on what you input into a computer or AI or whatever. I can see them coming to that conclusion on their own. That makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is this goofy movie's rebellion. How robots will all of a sudden care about being their own beings and want to, be free, quote unquote. It's a goofball movie, so it's fine. I'm not really ripping it too much because of that. But that's all I want to say is that's the biggest thing I didn't like about this movie is that premise is just too out there for me. I can't imagine these robots wanting to be free and care about themselves. One of my good friends long time ago pointed out to me, whenever I started using the internet as the be all end all, he's like, everything in the internet, someone put that in there. So there's no, the computers there, the way he laid it out for me just really made it click for me that, this is impossible. Anyway, so that's my biggest problem with this. The rest of it's a fun ride. It's goofy. I love Chris Pratt. He's funny. I like Millie Bobby Brown a lot too. And the special effects and action and stuff were fine for me. It's a pretty good time, and there's a lot of specifically enjoyable moments with an ending that I don't even have to spoil it, Pat. I could probably have you make 2-3 guesses with the first 2 not counting, and you'd get it right. So there's nothing really deep in this movie too. But I give Electric State on Netflix a solid 7 smiley faces. It's fine. I actually didn't mention with the Lord of Rohirrim or the War of Rohirrim too. My biggest complaint with that movie is the animation seemed wonky. I need one of you to watch that to tell me if you think the animation was wonky. It was like good, but like there were so many moments where it wasn't. It was like, do you ever experience that with an anime? Mike, you're watching more animes than any of us, I think, right now. You ever notice that with anime where overall it's like good, but then there's just like wonky periods of time in it, or moments? Mike,
well, I'm watching Studio Ghibli stuff with Korra, and
still counts.
But they don't have that problem. They're all solid.
Okay, so that's okay. So you're saying you've never noticed it because that's what pretty much you've been ingesting as far as animation is concerned.
Yeah, most recently, yeah.
Yeah, he is really anal with his animation. Yeah.
My thought on this. Now, this is 2 hours long. An hour in, I looked over.
Hold on a second. Are you talking about Electric State?
Yes.
Okay, let me finish the question with Pat first. Pat, did you ever notice that with animation?
Oh, definitely. It's just like the special effects thing in live action. I think they assign certain segments perhaps to different people or studios, and it doesn't always match up right. I think Mikey actually brought this up with that show Core was watching, where they spend all their budget on the first episode, and then the subsequent episodes just tank because they can't put the amount of money into them. So it is definitely a thing. You're not crazy.
Okay, cool. All right, Mike, I like not being crazy.
Yeah.
Mike, what were you gonna say about the first half hour of Electric State now?
No, after the first hour, I looked at Emily and I said, I hope this gets better. And I ended up falling asleep about an hour and 10 minutes into it because I was really tired. It was like you said, it was fun, but it kind of just it was flatlined. It kind of just stayed like this. It didn't have all these like ups and downs as far as excitement. I mean, there was some action, but I don't know. It was just kind of flatline for me. My favorite part though was that little robot there, the friend of Chris Pratt. Whenever he was kind of carrying the bus, and then they found that, and they launched a refrigerator at him. Yeah, it hit him in the leg, and he felt like, oh, my hammy. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really laughed at that. There were a couple parts that I did laugh at. I thought they were good.
Well,
but
I
if
will.
wasn't so
I'm gonna
tired,
get.
I'd probably like it the second half.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what I was gonna tell you is that the second half, I think, it was definitely better. And I definitely see what you're saying with the flatlining too. It was really kind of stagnant for a bit. But yeah, you kind of count on those brief moments of humor to carry it in that, in that moment too. And the star power, right there, which I thought they did a good job acting, so that always kind of distracts from a bad plot if you've got really good actors, so, but I think the end kind of brought it home. So I would recommend to you to finish it. It definitely, I think what you said, it does. It gets better. Not excellent,
Right.
It's
just worth it.
Yeah, just worth it to finish it. Yeah. So yeah, check it out. And then lastly, I got to watch Kraven the Hunter.
I'm so sorry, Kevin.
This is what I tried to watch last night. Emily goes, "What do you want to watch?" And I was like, "Oh, Kraven's out." And her silence really, I said, "Okay, never mind."
Oh, she has no interest in it at all.
No, none at all. So,
did you say sorry because you've seen it, Pat, or you just heard about it?
I heard about it. Plus, I just don't understand the Sony Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, Mike, are you not going to watch this then because Emily doesn't watch it? You have no interest in it yourself as well?
No, I want to watch it. It's just one of those. I'll just end up catching it.
You'll probably never get to it unless it's by accident because your list is so long at this point, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a professional, so I have to suffer through stuff like that. Well, I shouldn't say suffer. Okay. Suffer. I don't want to spoil any of this, spoil my review at all. But so this is Quicksilver, right? That's the actor, right?
Yeah.
Which he's pretty cool. I thought, his role was real short-lived in Age of Ultron, which was such a great out, but I thought he was a great Quicksilver. I think him and the other Quicksilver are arguably equally good in different regards, in my opinion. But anyway, what's this actor's name, Pat? Come on.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Man, you nailed it. Nice, Pat. See, this is why I rely on you for this stuff.
He's also Kick-Ass. If you watch those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about him being in Kick-Ass. Yeah. Mike, you failed to mention the selling point of this movie to your wonderful wife.
What's that?
Russell Crowe's his dad. Russell Crowe's in this movie.
Oh, yeah, that may have swayed her.
Yeah.
She is a big Russell Crowe fan.
Yeah. Is he your favorite? He's up there, but maybe not the favorite.
Yeah. I think him and Gerard Butler. Those early 2000s hunky actors.
Yeah, right.
Not that I'm jealous. Like, you can't watch Gladiator again.
Yeah, I think her and I've always remembered that her and I have totally clicked with the Russell Crowe love. Yeah. But so I didn't even know that. Pat, did you know that Russell Crowe's his dad in this?
I didn't. I don't believe I ever heard that. No.
Yeah, I was totally surprised by it. He's in it right out the gate and through the whole thing, which definitely helped me stick around. That's for sure. So start with Mike. Mike, are you a Kraven the Hunter aficionado in any way?
No, I think he's an awesome character.
Right.
I haven't read a whole lot of Kraven stuff.
Do you know about his origin?
No.
Pat,
I'm counting on them getting it right, though. They got it right. They nailed it.
Right. That's what I'd hope, too. Pat,
I'm guessing the answer is no.
Pat, are you familiar with Kraven the Hunter's origin?
I don't, I feel like he never really had much of one. I thought he was just like a wealthy aristocrat who, was a hunter, big game hunter going after the most dangerous game. I think there's been some tweaks along the way. You know, if it, I don't even know what the deal is with Kraven these days. Is it the original Kraven? Is it his son? Which sort of seems like maybe what's going on here in this movie, maybe with Russell Crowe. Was he like the original Kraven the Hunter, and this is his son, perhaps? I don't know.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're all on the same page. Not a whole lot of knowledge on the subject. And to double down on what Pat said too, I was completely under the impression that there essentially wasn't a Kraven the Hunter or origin. Like Pat said, he's just a crazy big game hunter villain, rich guy, and has the means to be what he is. And that's all I know. So this movie is totally an origin story. I don't know if any of it, I don't know if it's just been made up just for this movie, or there's any, and I didn't do any research to see if there's any, source material aside from the mind of the screenwriter on this that,
yeah, I'm guessing Sony took a lot of liberties.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. We got a comment. See, Karen, this is why we need you, Karen, because we got a comment and it was like long, so I had to read it real quick to see if I'd put it up. It was a comment on what we said later. Yeah, so to see if the screenwriter just took a lot of liberties or it was his idea or her idea. I don't even know who the screenwriter was. But this is totally an origin story. And basically, Russell Crowe is Kraven's father, and you're incorrect, Pat. Russell Crowe wasn't Kraven the Hunter. His name is just Kraven, and Russell Crowe's his father, but Russell Crowe's like a Soviet, whatever the equivalent of, kind of gangsters and stuff are in the Soviet Union. He's like this big mob boss type guy. And he has two sons. Kraven's one of them. And Kraven is actually attacked by a lion, like super mauled to death. And this lady that's a wild lady, they're all in this hunter group, these big game hunter people. This is back in the day when he was a kid. He gets attacked and mauled by a lion, and she takes her to this like African tribe, or she takes him to this African tribe where they give him like this medicinal stuff that saves his life, but also makes him essentially ultra fast, ultra agile, ultra strong. So he's kind of leaning in on having superpowers, but nothing ridiculous. It's just basically, I put it like this: he's as strong as the strongest human, and he's as fast as the fastest human, and he's as that kind of thing, but I technically wouldn't call them really like superpowers. But anyway, from this medicine that he's given to save his life, he develops these powers. Then his brother and Russell Crowe and Kraven all become estranged from each other, and Kraven essentially becomes an anti-hero where he's just tracking down bad guys to kill them. And of course, there's this big conflict in regarding who he's killing versus who his father is. So his father essentially doesn't like the people he's killing. So he actually, it's very confusing without kind of butchering the details. His brother gets involved to help him find his father, and his father's actually leading the charge to help him stop this certain person that he actually does want to beat. Which brings me to my next thing that I want to mention about this. Did you guys know the Rhino is in this?
Did not know that.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of the Rhino at the end of Amazing Spider-Man?
a mistake.
Yes. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that was terrible. The Paul Giamatti one? Yeah, that was terrible.
I would have agreed with you
Wait,
prior to what?
No, go ahead.
Prior to Spider-Man existing, because I've always said this about the original Spider-Man, that I thought the Green Goblin was so dumb at first. But then I thought the movie was so great and Willem Dafoe did such a great job that I actually liked the Green Goblin costume from the first one. And the way I made sense of myself is, they needed to kind of fake it up with this costume type because it wouldn't make sense just for him to have like goblin makeup or whatever. I didn't think, so basically they sold me after I originally hated it. So I carried that over with Amazing Spider-Man with Paul Giamatti and the Rhino, where I'm like, they couldn't actually have a guy be a big Rhino costume guy. He's gonna look like a cosplayer. So the way they made it a robot Rhino, I thought was kind of cool. So I was thinking, maybe we'll get more robot Rhino in the future. Is that what you guys were thinking too? That was the lead-in for Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I don't
Never
know.
thought about it. You just hated it and moved along. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so the Rhino is a super big baddie that the Kraven is after in this movie. And he's excuse me, he's the opposite of Bane. Okay. He has this medicine going into him that when he doesn't have the medicine, he becomes Bane. So he's got this skin condition. What's that called? Psoriasis, where your skin gets all flaky and hard and dry. Is that psoriasis, Mike?
Sounds right.
Okay. So the Rhino is essentially this guy that has a really extreme case of psoriasis. And whenever he doesn't have this medicine, he rhinos out, to use a Hulk term, right? And I will say this about the Rhino, first of all. I was wrong about Paul Giamatti. You guys were right. That was, excuse me, that was a horrible Rhino. The Rhino in this one's pretty awesome. Let me just tell you that. That was actually, I think, well, let me kind of walk that back a little bit. The way it goes down sucks. This is not, it's not a very good sequence of events, but I think when he rhinos out and becomes Rhino, it's pretty cool. I think this movie is just worth watching the last half hour.
Now, I want to see it just for that. I gotta see it.
Exactly. You should. And don't if you haven't seen anything, don't go searching for it. Literally just watch the last half hour of this.
Well, I'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah, watch the whole thing. Yeah. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. But yeah, so and I won't give, there's a twist to the ending here, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. Involving Rhino and Russell Crowe. And no, Russell Crowe is not the Rhino, if that's what you're thinking. Don't even think that. That's okay. Russell Crowe is literally just Kraven's dad.
He's just Russell Crowe.
Yeah. But anyway, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I heard nothing but bad about it as well. Mm-hmm. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm gonna partially say it's because I'm not a Kraven fan, so I don't know anything about Kraven, other than the basics that I assumed was all there was prior to this thinking about it with this movie. And I like the actor, and of course I like Russell Crowe, and this was fine. There was definitely some slow points where it kind of dragged on a little bit, that if I wasn't a professional movie reviewer with millions of viewers, I may have stopped. But I'm glad I didn't, because I think it's similar to Electric State. This just kind of got better as the movie went along. And it's fine. I think this is one of those cases too, where I feel like maybe if this wasn't Kraven the Hunter, this had just been called, Hunter Man or whatever other stupid title you want to give this guy. It would have probably served it better. I feel like maybe part of the hate on this or whatever is because they're selling it as Kraven the Hunter, a Spider-Man character with no, again, we talk about it, Pat, with, in the Spider-Verse with no Spider-Man. And why are they doing it? If this was just Hunter Man Gets It, whatever stupid title you can come up with by itself, maybe I think more people would have enjoyed it. I think that really kind of led to that.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, and I agree.
Yeah, and my number one complaint with this entire movie is in your face right now. Spoiler alert. This is the last scene of the movie and the only time you ever see Kraven looking like Kraven.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, right.
Kraven.
Yeah, there you go. Kraven
Which
actually looks like Kraven. Yeah, because that's what's so cool about wanting to see the movie.
Agreed.
I think the character is the character design, how awesome he looks.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's my number one complaint. This literally this shot is the last scene of the movie, and it's the only time you see him like this.
It's like who do they check with anybody when they make these things? Like who thought that was a good idea? Like the coolest thing about this character is the way he looks, and let's just not even show it.
Right.
Till the end. Who said that? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I gotta be in these meetings.
So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give Kraven maybe not a solid 7, maybe a little soft 7 with maybe a little 6.5 leading in there, somewhere around there. You know, that's why my teaser was I got a lot of mid to show you today, because all of my movies are kind of right there for different reasons, and take 7s for what they are. So a lot of people think 7s are great.
I think 7s are good. Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're at least watchables. When do you get into you wouldn't recommend it to a friend, Pat or Mike? Start with you. When do you what rating would you give a movie that you would also tell them don't bother watching it? What's the highest rating that what I'm saying? The first rating that gets to that point.
I think 6s are recommendable. I think 5 and below, it's like if you just want a really bad time, watch it. But
so 5 is your threshold for bad.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, I was gonna say 4, 5 or 4.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I guess 5 could be that middle of the road. It's like, look, you could fall either way here.
Right,
so.
that's what I was thinking. I actually heard a reviewer that he gives 10s perfect, 1 sucks, 5s are okay. I'm like, no, 5s. What I'm thinking sucks. But then what do I do with 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah. Yeah. So 5, I guess, would be you could like it, you could not like it. And 4 is definitely on the side where I'd say, yeah, you're not gonna like this. So yeah, I think Pat was right with the 4 being
the first sucky one.
Threshold,
yeah. All right, and then just a couple bonus ones for you. I like to throw these non-geek movies I watched out to you. I also watched this movie called The Dry with Eric Bana. Yeah, your favorite Incredible Hulk, Pat. Your favorite Incredible Hulk, Eric Bana.
My favorite, the Hulk. Yeah. Yeah,
your favorite, the Hulk, right? And The Dry was so good they made a second part called Forces of Nature, The Dry Part 2. Eric Bana, this is basically a detective show with Eric Bana, being the lead detective, and it's Australian. I think it's actually an Australian produced movie. The only place you can watch The Dry is on the Sundance Channel, and the only place you can watch The Dry Part 2 is on Hulu, which I thought was strange. I was like, well, Hulu, why don't you have The Dry on there? I actually had to do I need to cancel that 7-day free trial. Sundance is going to get me. But literally that's what happened. I wanted to watch Forces of Nature, The Dry 2. And then I was like, is there a Dry 1? And then I saw there was, and it's only on Sundance. So I went to Sundance. I had to sign up for the free trial to watch The Dry, to then watch Forces of Nature, The Dry 2. But those are, again, both mid 7s, 7 smiley faces. They're both detective dramas. Which they're fine. I like Eric Bana a lot. That's what attracted me to it. I'm a big Eric Bana fan. And doesn't he qualify as would you say a 90s hunky?
I said early 2000s because it's 2025 right now, and the movies we're talking about came out like Gladiator. What year was that? 2002 or something?
Yeah, I think 2002. Yeah.
So
just before Max was born. Yeah. I actually like Eric Bana as my favorite in Black Hawk Down. That's really where. Oh, and Troy, he was Brad Pitt's brother in Troy, right? Or not, best friend. Yeah.
I didn't see Troy.
Oh, Mike, gotta see Troy. Especially the first 15 minutes. Put it on the list. Put the first 15 minutes of Troy on the list. Put the last half hour of Kraven on the list.
There you go.
And you need to finish your last hour of Electric State. You
Right.
officially got one movie length of movies to watch.
Well, that sounds right.
All right, anyway, so that'll do it for me. Hold on. Karen? Oh, thank you.
Well done.
Appreciate it. Okay. Who's up? Oh, Mike's up. Mike, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sweet. Hey, should I give a teaser for what my next show's watching is going to be if I know what it's going to be?
Yeah, just throw something out.
Yeah. Well, for you two too, because I'd love when you guys watch what I'm going to watch.
Yeah, that's true. Then if I'm wondering
something to watch.
Yeah, I don't have anything to watch.
And I think this might be right up your alley, Mike. I'm going to watch Nosferatu for the next episode.
Oh, cool. That is right up my alley.
The new one.
Yeah. Is that free somewhere already?
Yeah, it's on Max.
Okay.
Already seen it.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Nice.
We'll be good then, Mike.
Yeah, definitely.
Should probably watch it again.
Oh, that's promising, isn't it, Mike? If he's willing to give it a second viewing, nice.
Let's just say I was sort of like Mike watching The Electric State. I was pretty sleepy going into it.
Gotcha.
And it's a very dark and brooding movie.
Well, I checked out the first 5 minutes, so yeah, I definitely got that out of it so far. Yeah, I can't remember.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's in Nosferatu.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
He's the new guy making the regular rounds, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mike. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. That's right. Let's see what we have here. Strong week. I'm sorry. I mean a week. Here are 10 covers chosen from a list of 448. These all hit the shelf April 2nd. I will start with Immortal Thor 22, Dan Panosian. Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell #1, Lionel Francis Yu. Marvel Rivals for Kevin, #1, the J. Scott Campbell. This is the Psylocke cover. If you go over to his website, he has a lot of, I think he's has probably like 4 or 5 different ones that you can choose from. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time, #1, the Nick Bradshaw 1:25 ratio. Batman #158. This is an Alex Ross web store exclusive. He has 2. This is the B cover for it. He's got a really awesome Batman one as well. I chose this one because the Batman one you have to turn. It's more landscape than portrait. And that'll run you $50. So you got to break out the checkbook there. Poison Ivy 32, Bernard Chang. Batgirl #6, David Talaski. JSA #6, Todd Knock. Resurrection Man #1, another Dan Panosian. And G.I. Joe Beachhead #1, Phil Hester. Which that issue, I'm kind of interested in that. Phil Hester does all the artwork and the writing for it, if you can call it that. This is a silent issue, which is kind of neat. So there you go. Those are your 10 to choose from.
Well, here's what I have to say first of all.
Yeah.
Can you spell week? Can you spell both of those weeks individually?
This is a week, WEAK.
Okay, I'm pushing back on that, Mike. I thought you did an excellent job. I know there's been some scuttlebutt that this wasn't really that great of a week, but
well,
sorry.
I went through the list like 3 times because I just couldn't get 10. So I went back through and I still couldn't get 10. So I went back through and that's where I started. I'm like, okay, the Alex Ross, the web store exclusive. I'm like, okay, I'll use that because I don't want to put web store exclusives on there because trying to draw attention to these, they're expensive. I think the Scott Campbell ones are probably around 20 to 25. The Alex Ross is $50. That's quite a bit.
Well, I was just saying what I was going to say to defend this lot is I love when there is so much difference going on from cover A to cover Z in this, the different ways and art styles that all of these are. I think it's pretty excellent, Mike. I thought you did a good job. There's actually only one cover I don't like at all, and then another cover that wasn't in the running. But all the rest of them were pretty much in the running for me.
Yeah, collectively they look better. When Pat put this together, and I look at them together, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, maybe that does help. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we talked about that before. Yeah. But I can appreciate you not trying to sell or not that you're trying to sell, but showing the really expensive one, getting us wanting to get those. Thanks with the Rivals, because that is a great Rivals cover. I love that cover.
Yeah,
I actually bought 3 Rivals covers last week when the Rivals themed covers came out. Yeah. Which, if I'm going to buy it just for the cover anyway, might as well buy a Rivals themed. But anyway.
That's true.
All right, cool.
All right. So yeah, we'll get through these and then
sorry to interrupt you again, Mike. I messed up my own train of thought because my whole thing, the reason why I asked you to spell week twice is because Pat came up with a great idea we're possibly going to start having 2 weeks of books. So I had a couple questions about that for you.
Yes.
So first of all, for anybody who's not aware watching this episode, we switched to every other week shows a couple months ago rather than doing weekly shows. And Pat noted that, hey, we're missing a whole week's worth of comics as options to put in the pick 3. So, Mike, are you going to give us 20 books to pick 3 of, or are you going to just use 2 weeks? So you're going to be looking through 1,000 books to pick 10 out of. How's that going to work?
Yeah, what I thought was I would do if we're on the regular schedule, I would do 5 from one week and then 5 from the next week.
Okay, so in this graphic, like the top line would say the one date and the bottom line would say the other date.
Actually that would probably be a good way to do it so I don't mix them all up.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the first 5 will be from one week and the second 5 will be from the following week.
And essentially when we do a show, it'll be 5 from 2 days before we do the show and then 5 from 4 days from after we do the show. So that's good. That's perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
Great idea, Pat.
Yeah, it really was because and I think it came about, he may have been thinking about it previously, but it kind of voiced his opinion on it when I said how I struggled this week. And it's
right.
Like, well, actually I had 2 weeks to choose from if I had the idea. So
yeah.
So I like
You're probably going to have the opposite problem. We're going to start having, well, I did 11 this week because I couldn't decide on only 10.
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm going to run into that.
Well, having too many that are awesome will be a good problem for you to have, though, I think, All right. Anyway, continue then. Sorry. I'm done.
Okay. So let's get to the winners and then we can kind of discuss what we liked and didn't like. We had a tie for third and I like to show the ties now because, it's warranted. It got the scores. So the first one in place 3.5, I guess you can call it, was Immortal Thor 22, the Infinite Ocean. Excuse me.
Man, your new update you started a few weeks ago too, with having that cover inside the cover look going too. Actually makes that cover look a little better. I like it more now, actually.
Well, yeah, you said how much you liked it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with this for a bit because yeah, I like it as well.
Do you agree with that, Pat, or is this frustrating you?
No, I like it.
Okay, cool.
Cool. And I have to say, damn, he's cranking out the covers. From he's all over. It's not just Marvel. I mean, he's Marvel, he's DC, he's Image, he's Dynamite. He's everywhere. I love it. But not a lot of work. Okay, and then tied with the Immortal Thor, this made me pretty happy. We've got Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell #1 with Lionel Francis Hugh.
This is the one that wasn't in the run. This isn't the one that I didn't like at all. This is the one that wasn't in the running for me though, because I didn't like it enough to be in the running.
Well, this really, I like this one a lot because I'm not a fan of as I've said before, the split face. But he did such a good job on this one. This one really lines up well. He did a great job. So that's why this one got a lot of attention from me, is just because it takes something that I don't like and makes me like it.
Awesome. Complete transparency here, though. I didn't think of this as a split face at all. I literally just thought about it as something where part of his mask was missing.
Oh yeah, well,
like he just got in a fight, like the man. I'm talking about Spider-Man a lot today. When Spider-Man gets half of his mask blown off at the end of Spider-Man, something like that. That's what I was thinking it was.
But Matt Murdock doesn't wear his glasses under his mask
or a trench
that's
coat.
True. I didn't even put that together, Pat. Thank you. That's true. That's true.
You kind of like it now, right? Like, ooh,
well, like I said, it just wasn't in the running for me. I didn't dislike it. The part that made it not in the running for me is just too creepy. Just too creepy for me to really enjoy. Yeah. Which I guess that makes it good,
Lionel Francis Hugh, he's very good at drawing wrinkled old faces.
Yeah.
He should put on a book. Be put on a book that's just a bunch of old people.
Yeah.
He really gets the wrinkled look across perfectly.
Yeah. Yep. All right, here we go. In second place, we've got Marvel Rivals. Jason.
Oh man.
So there you go. What? I don't get it.
I think the crowd is unhappy that this didn't win. It's one of those situations.
Yeah. Booing for that reason.
Because man, I love this cover. Man, she's obviously making the rounds with Rivals, and man, this
I think her spine is the real winner here because she's super flexible. That girl, she can do that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Not too much to say about that in the family show, but
all right, we'll move on to first place then.
And this one's going to cost me $20. Is that what you said, Mike? 20 plus shipping, $25.
I think his were around 20 to 25. Yeah. And there may be other ones that you like. You could probably buy a set. I think there were four or five in the set. Squirrel Girl was one. It was pretty good. I just like this one better.
So, I did those for previous previews, but he might have like different versions of them. But the basic cover A, this one was A, it was $30. And then remember, to get the other ones, you had to get them in sets.
Oh, that's right.
Get A plus B or A plus C or A plus D, or you get the whole thing for $142.50. So,
man,
that's right. Yeah.
But I know he doesn't, he may have like a version, and also I believe they're all sold out at the time. They sold out day one. But I know he does like alternate versions where like he removes the logo. So I don't know what he may have put more back up that are different or additional copies of the original one here. So who knows?
Yeah. Sorry, Kev. We just have to print this one out on the printer.
Right. Exactly. Wait, shh. Don't want people busting down my door to arrest me for
Right. Yeah.
In my latest installment of selling Rivals for you to play, you know what else is cool about Rivals? And it's something that Overwatch did, and obviously Rivals is kind of a lot of people accusing it of just being Overwatch with Marvel skins, but they use the actual languages of whoever what character they're playing, and I wish. Well, I'm sure I could look it up on the internet exactly what they're saying, but like especially Psylocke when she does her ultimate, she screams out this thing that I'm not going to imitate because I'll totally butcher it. But it's so fun, man. Same thing with Iron Fist. Whenever he ultimates, it's one of the best parts. And when you hear them scream, that's how it works. When you hear them scream that, it's coming. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it's definitely great. I cannot wait till the get together so we can all play and experience all these things together.
Sweet. And then we'll just do Rivals themed shows.
Man, that's awesome. We definitely should have one. Oh, I'm definitely recording everything we play, and then I'll edit together the fun points, when we play. Man, it's gonna be awesome. So anyway, okay.
All right, let's get to first place.
Let me set you up here. All right.
I was surprised. Resurrection Man #1, Dan Panosian. Look at him on 2 covers placing this week.
Nice job.
Yep. Yeah, I've said this before. I just love where he is artistically now compared to where he was in the 90s. He's just grown so much in his style. I love it. And I wish I can get every single cover he does because I look at them all and I'm like, this is just fantastic.
Did anyone preview this in a previous previews episode?
I don't recall.
No. Nope.
Seems like it would have been a perfect fit. Does anybody know anything about this book?
No.
Resurrection Man's been around for a while. It's on Vertigo.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I never really got into, so I don't know anything about the character.
Well, this is a good seller for #1 because that cover is great. Did you vote for this, Pat?
Yeah, thanks to the tie, I nailed this week. Yeah.
Nice.
You both have voted for it. I didn't.
What was your 3, Mike? Can you put the 10 back up again real quick?
Yeah. Mine were the Immortal Thor, the Batman, the Alex Ross Batman, and Batgirl. Seriously, the Batgirl books, he's doing such a good job of those covers. I like the atmosphere of that one. So, yeah, I got 1 this week.
So I got 2 because I do believe my other third pick was the Batman cover, the Batgirl Batman cover, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So the only one that I don't like is the Deadpool kills the universe again, whatever that is. Man, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, man, the more I looked at that Poison Ivy, the more I actually started to like it. That one was my immediate. That one and Daredevil were my immediates. I'm not picking these. But then the Poison Ivy, the more I looked at it, I thought, you know what? Actually, that's kind of cool. Same thing with the JSA. I like that one a lot too. I wanted to pick the G.I. Joe desperately, but I thought it was, for lack of a better way to describe it, boring, or there just wasn't enough there for me to really appreciate it. But everything else, were definitely contenders, so.
Yeah, Yeah, I thought the JSA was a great representation of like the big team cover.
Yeah.
So sometimes those books, they kind of bore me whenever there's a lot of characters on the cover doing that traditional pose there coming at you. But that one, I was like, oh, this looks really fantastic. So I actually like that one a lot.
Yeah. What's up with the Batgirl now anyway? Is she wearing that complete mask now? I mean, is that how Batgirl is now?
Well, that's not Barbara Gordon Batgirl.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Whoever it is, and is that how she looks? I mean, what's the deal? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I think that design came about in the early 2000s or 90s?
It's been around for a while, and I think she's gone sort of back and forth. There's been different variations of it, but that whole face covered mask has been around for quite a while now.
I kind of resent when you guys talk about the early 2000s being quite a while. That was just like 2 years ago. Okay.
So, right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about 10, 20 years ago, we're in the 80s and 90s. Okay. Let's be realistic. Okay.
I know. Isn't it weird how our brains work that way though?
It is.
Yeah. 20 years ago. Yeah. 20 years ago was still the 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was the 80s.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't care for that full mask Batgirl look much. Do you guys like it?
I like it as long as it's not Barbara Gordon.
Yeah. Who is it?
Cassandra Cain. Yeah. Maybe it used to be. Who knows these days?
Right. Yeah, I've got that first series. Never read them. It was one of those times I was just buying it to buy it.
So. Yeah. I like seeing too much of her face, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely gives a more bat-like appearance. I guess that's what they're probably going for when they use that costume. But
that's true.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my favorite look.
Yeah, I thought the Joker was kind of a Cesar Romero looking.
Yeah, that's totally what popped into my mind too. Yeah.
So I kind of like that. And then it's that whole funny, will it cake or is it cake or real or whatever. I thought that was kind of funny. That one's actually labeled as an April Fool's variant. I don't know if DC did a whole line of April Fool's variants or not. But that one was labeled that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think, like I said, great week, Mike.
Thanks. Yeah, get out there this Wednesday and pick them up. Well, except for the Rivals. Yeah, Batman. It goes online. Hey, you think if you owned a store, if you would make an attempt to contact, let's say you got a hold of Alex Ross and said, look, I have a store and I'd like to buy 5 copies from my store if you would give a discount, or even if not, if you'd still get them in your store a little more accessible to your customers, would you do that?
I definitely would. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if I couldn't get a discount, if the only way I could get them was to buy them full price and then have them in the store and mark them up to make a couple bucks on it. I know that I'd totally be a sucker for that though. If Gateway bought this Marvel Rivals and put it on the shelf for $30, or would you say it was $30 already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it up on the shelf for $35, $40. If it was a week, I felt like I had a little bit of extra dollars flowing. I'd be stupid about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit easier if you can just walk in and buy it off the shelf than mail order it, all that stuff.
Because that's part of the problem, or I don't know what you call it a problem, but that's part of the thing that makes me not want to spend high dollar with store exclusive and stuff too, because then I got to wait for it. Especially most of the time you see it for the first time, it doesn't come out for like 2 months or whatever, so you gotta you're shelling out a lot of cash and waiting.
Yeah.
So rather than pay $30 and wait 2 months, I'd totally pay $40 to walk out of a store with it. So that's a genius idea, Mike.
Thanks.
Why don't more stores do that? You know?
Yeah, I think it's just the amount of money they have to spend every month. It's not a luxury they have, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
money's tight. But yeah, I get the waiting. I get that with pre-ordering records. You know, I gotta wait 2-3 months for something. Get so many of them, I forget.
Yeah, then something shows up on your door and it's like a bonus. You totally don't know what you're opening. It's like Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, what's this?
All right, cool. Moving right along. Let's talk about these awesome stories. All right.
Hey, look,
Mike,
I'm
you're
next.
first.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, I reviewed Deadly Tales of Gunslinger #1. I can't remember if I did #2 as well or just #1. So I read issue 2 and 3.
From what I recall, it was just #1, right, Pat?
#1. Yeah, it was like 40 pages.
Yeah.
So then I read #2 and 3, and I thought I would do a review of those. I picked up issue 4 the other day, started looking through here. Well, at the end of #3, it said, finished for now. And I picked up #4, and it's a different storyline. And I liked the artwork a little bit more. This one seemed a little more intriguing to me that I wanted to review. So I'm not going to review 2 and 3. It just continues the story from issue 1.
Okay.
And this is it's still so this is Deadly Tales of Gunslinger #4. Came out March 19th. Still Jimmy Palmiotti doing the writing. Chad Hardin on art here. This is not the Chad Hardin cover. He actually did the variant cover, and then he did the interior work. And I wish I had grabbed that variant cover. I'm going to make it a point to go back and get it. I should have had it on here because it's really awesome. Once I read this issue and I paid attention to his art, I loved it. Now he's done some DC work here and there, but nothing ever stood out to me before. Maybe it's because it was only on covers that I saw it. But the storytelling is great. So we'll just get into the opening page. So we've got this man. He owns a circus, and he takes the money from one night's ticket sales, and he tries to double it. So instead of paying his performers and the members of the circus, he goes and he gambles on, playing some cards, trying to double his money. And he ends up losing it all. Not only did he lose all of his money, he lost the circus to this man right here, smoking the cigar. That man's name is Wyatt King, by the way. We'll find out more about him in a little bit. So this is just the opening page. I love that. I love the art style there. And here,
hold on. Let me back you up to that picture again.
Okay. So this is kind of everybody that's in this issue. The guy with the curly mustache owns the circus. And he runs a circus, and he's the one that goes and gambles everything away. The woman with the horns there, we don't know a lot about her. She's kind of in the circus.
Have we ever seen Gunslinger Spawn? Is this exactly how Gunslinger Spawn looks? He just looks like Spawn with a cowboy hat on, which I thought he was different. It's been a while since I read it. The only Gunslinger I've read was in Scorched, and I thought he was.
Let's see in #1. Oh yeah, the cover doesn't show us a whole lot.
Yeah, but this is I just want to clarify that real quick before we move on. So 1 through 3 was kind of like an origin story, which is what you were originally looking for, and 4 is kind of a completely new story, it's separate from 1 through 3.
It's separate, but it's the same. It doesn't continue that storyline. Well, I think that
it's in the same era, essentially.
Yeah, it's the same era. It's just kind of like a side adventure, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
He's still looking for this guy Wyatt King. He's looking for him. So when he kind of comes across, we'll get this is him out. He's just out kind of camping. I think it's cool because we don't see him with his mask on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of pulled up. And then in one of the panels on the next page, he kind of pulls it down. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But so he's out. Excuse me. Of course, now I'm talking, I'm coughing more. So he's just out in the middle of the desert there, and so he's still looking for Wyatt King, who just so happens to be the new owner of the circus. And Gunslinger spawns out there in the desert, and a woman with a small child approaches him. Dang it, excuse me. And she's actually escaping the circus, and her daughter is the woman in the bottom corner there with the horns. And she shows up, the Gunslinger spawn there with her granddaughter, which is the baby of this girl here. Or no, yeah, daughter. And basically, she just wants to hire him. She wants to borrow his guns so she can go and rescue her daughter who's being held at the circus. Whenever Gunslinger Spawn finds out that Wyatt King is the owner, he kind of just says, well, I'll take care of this for you. So he goes in, and the girl's being held captive by 4 members of the circus. And so he goes in, and he guns a-blazing, and he actually offers himself in trade because he wants to get to this Wyatt guy. So he offers he'll be their captive if they give up the girl. Things don't go well for them, though. He ends up shooting them all and kind of rescuing the girl in a way. So then he's kind of off chasing after. He's going to go find the circus and address this Wyatt King guy. And on his way, he runs into these 4 guys here, and he's shooting them, but his bullets aren't doing anything. So there he is, just blasting away. I have no idea what's going on with them. This is the way the issue finished. So I really like the art. The story's pretty interesting. It's just a 2-issue pause from the ongoing. Patrick Reynolds is the regular series artist, and he'll return with issue number 6. And I think from there, it'll continue on with what was started in issues 1, 2, and 3. So issue 4 and 5 are kind of a standalone filler. So I say this is a get it, because I really like the art, and it's a good story. That's all I have to say about that.
So does he have like spawn like? Does he shoot like regular bullets, or does he like have spawn powers?
As far as I know, they're just regular bullets.
Okay, I see. I do like the art style. I've heard Chad Hardine's name, for years, but I don't believe I've ever, been buying a book or a series that he's been on. So yeah, I guess I'm not really familiar with him, but I do like the artwork.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I went back and looked. I'm like, oh, he's done these, covers for that. I think he did some Harley covers.
Yeah.
But this really stood out to me. I'm like, man, this is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because he's, I would say he's sort of more cartoonish, but it fits this Western style, I think, rather well. So
yeah, exactly. So that's why it's kind of, I was hoping that he would have a longer run. I'm like, oh, is he going to be the new regular artist? But it's just these 2 issues. So I'll take these. And I want to go get, I should have put it up here, his variant cover. I can't remember if I highlighted it. Oh yeah, I think I put it on the pick 3 a couple weeks ago. He's riding this horse, and it's like just doing a hard turn.
Okay.
But it kind of was like, oh, that's kind of neat, but I'm an A cover kind of guy. So I got the A cover, And I'm thinking, dang, I should have grabbed the variant because it's the interior artist cover. And I like that consistency. So, but this is a get it because it's still a good story with excellent art. There you go.
Nice. Sorry, I missed that. I'm gonna have to catch that the next time I check out the episode. But great job.
No, thanks. I'm gonna go find a cough drop real quick.
Okay. I'm actually, broadcasting. I don't know why I keep saying broadcast. I'm going to use broadcasting all the time, though. I'm broadcasting from Xcellar Charlie again. I had to run all the way to my house to take care of some business real quick, and that's all it's gone so long. But I agree with what you said, Pat, about that art, though. That it looks cartoony but fits. Yeah, I like that too. So, what do you got, Pat?
Oh, me. Nobody's talking about Hush today, right?
I intentionally avoided it because I assumed Mike was going to be talking about it because of some things he shared with us. But,
no, I have not read it.
Perfect, because neither did I.
What?
Well, I had to finish up the Chip Zdarsky era before I moved on to Hush. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Batman 153 through 157.
Nice.
So I think maybe we talked about this issue months and months ago, but I'm playing a bit of catch up here. So yeah, I'm talking about 153, 154, 155, 156, and 157. So basically, there, this is by Chip Zdarsky. He wrote all the issues. There's a group of artists. Jorge Jimenez did the covers through the whole run, but he only did art for 153 and a good bit of 157. I'm not sure if it was deadlines or what was going on there. And I know there was some funky shenanigans going on between trying to wrap this up and Hush starting up. So that could have led to not for him to be able to do the whole run. He was helped by Carmine, Gian Domenico, Jorge Fornes, and Tony S. Daniel. All filled in very well. Especially the Jorge Fornes was sort of a standalone issue dealing with Jim Gordon, and it fit the tone of that issue. But basically what we have here, we have a lot going on in this final arc, which was titled The Dying City. Batman is sort of resetting. He's got a new home. Wayne Manor was destroyed a long time ago, and he's setting up shop in this new home. He's embracing family after this whole fail-safe thing. And he's vowing to help Gotham in many ways, more so than Batman. He's trying to, philanthropically as Bruce Wayne, trying to change things in Gotham as well. Riddler has seemingly gone straight, using his brilliant mind to become like a tech billionaire at this point. He claims he's walking the straight and narrow, but of course, who's going to believe the Riddler? Certainly not Bruce Wayne or Batman. Jim Gordon and Bullock are no longer policemen; they're private investigators. Vandal Savage is the new chief of police, or the commissioner. There's a new hero in town called Commander Starr. I think he's on one of these issues fighting Batman. So as you can tell, he's maybe not a hero. The Court of Owls is back in town, and they seem to be under Russian control. Bruce Wayne may have a half brother that he's just finding out about, who's trying to get a piece of the Wayne fortune. So it seems like there's a lot of story here, and you wonder how it can all be dealt with in these 5 issues. But Chip Zdarsky pulls it off. But it really makes you wonder, you know, I personally, he has gone on record saying that this was how he intended to wrap things up, but I feel like there was so much going on here that this could have been like a year's worth or more of stories. That may be good or bad in your opinion. You know, a lot of people think a lot of storylines these days are drawn out, written for trades. This may be like a throwback to like the old days where you got so much story packed into each and every issue. It does leave me wonder, you know, if truly he was sort of forced out by the whole Hush 2 situation. Like I said, it's a good story. He addresses all these plot points. The final issue is extra size. It had to have been. I don't have the page count here. It was the same cover price, but he successfully wrapped things up in a satisfying manner. He gave, you know, all the dangling plot threads their due in the final pages of 157. So overall, you know, this is a get it. I think the entire run by Chip Zdarsky and a lot of it by Jorge Jimenez is definitely very good. It's a get it. They did some unique things. And he successfully sort of reset things, I guess. The only weird thing I think is that Commissioner Gordon, or Jim Gordon, he's no longer commissioner. I wonder how that's gonna be dealt with. You know, it's sort of, I feel like, you know, Hush is gonna maybe try to go with, you know, the typical status quo, but they're kind of left with some dangling plot threads that even were happening before Chip Zdarsky took over. So, you know, overall, get it, as his whole run is a get it for me. But like I said, kind of left with wondering what could have been if he would have been, you know, not interrupted, or maybe he wasn't interrupted. It's all kind of hush hush, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so the Commissioner Gordon thing, that's such a drastic change to take him out of that role as commissioner, you know,
Right.
put him in the private eye. You know, it's like stuff like that. It's like, I'm kind of, certain things you just never want changed.
Yeah.
But sometimes it'll allow for better storytelling, because now they're going down different roads. Instead of him being commissioner, where he's always got this role to play, it opens up other things. So that could be good. And with, yeah, we don't know the inner workings on behind the scenes stuff, but I agree. It sounds like he was forced to end things earlier than what he had planned. And, you know, I mean, this is something Jim Lee's involved in. Look at who he is at DC.
Right.
He's president of DC Comics, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what this is. Yeah. So it's like what he says goes. Who knows how long they've been working on that? I think he works kind of slow. So they've probably been working on it for a while, and then said, okay, it's done. Let's get it out. This is going to be a huge moneymaker.
Right.
And the pre-orders for that book were, I think I shared, were they 400,000, something like that?
Is that why you made the second print comment?
Yeah. Because I was seeing people online saying, you know, Wednesday they went in and they were sold out. And I was like, how can they be sold out of this book? It's been advertised for a while. They have 400,000 copies of it, I guess, you know. So that's why I'm like, they're definitely going to second print this. They second printed books for lesser reason, I imagine. It's, you know,
probably
Jeff
a ton of
Loeb's
spec on these,
Jim
these
Lee,
too, right?
I don't think so. That many issues, that many copies out there. I don't think, you know, as far as value and collectability of it, I don't think it's ever going to hold a lot of value. Just be good storytelling, maybe. Yeah, there's so many of them now.
But yeah, it's kind of weird, because there, like I said, I'm interested to see how they pick things up, because I did continue getting Batman. I don't have Hush the first part yet, but you know, there was stuff even I didn't know that was going on with the Batman when Chip Zdarsky started his run, and like I didn't know Alfred was dead, so you're left without an Alfred.
Alfred's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're left without a quote unquote Commissioner Gordon. You have no Wayne Manor, so hopefully that they've been paying attention. They're not going to be contradicting a lot of plot points. And one thing, you know, I was reading through all the bullet points of everything that happened in this Dying City arc, and I think I skipped one, and that was the mayor is murdered. The mayor of Gotham City is murdered, and I'll tell you what, the killer that was revealed was truly shocking to me. It was set up very well. I never saw it coming, and it worked. It worked. Let's just say that. So
good. Yeah, a lot of uncomfortable changes in Batman. No Wayne Manor. Alfred's been dead. Gordon's not commissioner anymore. It's like, what are they doing here?
And there's a half brother. That's a whole story in itself.
Yeah, that I'm really uncomfortable. That's one of my least favorite ideas.
Well, I can set your mind at ease. That was one of the things. Like I feel like that was intended to go on longer, but he wrapped it up with they did a test, a DNA test, and found out that he was not his brother. But it does appear they let it. They put it into continuity that Bruce's dad perhaps had a dalliance with somebody else at the hospital he was working at, and that's why it was a possibility that this could have been his half brother, but it wasn't.
Yeah, see, that's the part I don't like that idea. Yeah, I have this vision of his parents as being good, and with him, you know, stepping out on the marriage or whatever, that just doesn't sit well with storytelling for me.
But also there again, part of the thrust of this arc and maybe his whole Batman run was that all these characters have flaws. They're not perfect people, and they're working to do better. So that was also added into the mix. You know, Bruce Thomas Wayne wasn't perfect. This was, you know, not to make it overblown. He possibly made some mistakes, but we all make mistakes, and we try to do our best. That was kind of the gist of how they wrapped this whole thing up. So,
yeah, I kind of like the idea that they were perfect, though.
Yeah,
right. Well, he could have also had a, you know, before he got married, he could. That's how you could have another half sibling.
Yeah,
right, but still,
you don't have to assume it just be. Yeah, right. Gotcha. Okay. Then that would just be him being dumb, I guess. Or
anyway, I got to catch up on Batman. I'm way back with that Button storyline crossover with the Flash.
Yeah,
that was like issue 30, 27, 28.
Yeah, this is definitely. Yeah, I'm in the same boat too.
So that's what I'm going to do.
What?
All my reviews are just going to be Batman from there on up to where.
Okay.
I'm not going to read any other books. I've got Batman to read.
You know, there are YouTube channels that do that. They'll just pick a run and they'll just cover every issue. And they do it really well. They pretty much show pictures of every page to an extent and talk about what's going on. It's pretty cool. Have you guys ever watched those?
I think if there's a certain run I wasn't aware of and I need to get caught up on it, I'll do that every once in a while.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Great job, man. Great, Max. Pat. Jeez. Sorry.
Well, I already have these. I just need a graphic that says read it. Read it.
Yeah, me too. Actually, Pat, I was going to ask you that question as well. You know, Mike's mentioning on regular occasion that he's a cover guy, and I always aspire, because I've regretted my decisions to grab B covers sometimes, to be like Mike, but I fail miserably regularly. Where do you stand on that, Pat? Are you stick with one kind of guy, or do you not mind mixing it up?
I try to stay with the main A cover unless there's a very favorite artist of mine on the B cover.
But you still get the A cover in addition to the.
Sometimes not.
Well, all you have to do is tear the B cover off, and you got your A cover.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Now they're doing that. Yeah. With certain books, like if there's a mini series that I kind of like the B cover a little bit more, I may
Switch
go
it
back
up.
and forth. But when it comes to the main books, Batman, Detective, my main go-to cover or books that I collect, because Batman's a book, no matter what, it's kind of like I think Pat was with Amazing Spider-Man, and maybe Fantastic Four was. It was no matter what, Batman was on my pull list.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Just so.
Yeah, you were the one that made me regret not getting Batman out of the gate when we first started collecting, Mike. So I ever since then I've learned my lesson. So.
Yeah. It's always Batman.
All right, cool. I read Cruel Universe #1 and #2. Now,
nice.
I'm 99% sure these are my covers, but I actually forgot my covers at Xcellar. So I was just going off memory looking at these online. And I'm pretty sure these are my covers. It really doesn't even matter that much, but I'm pretty sure these are my covers because these are stories that are inside. And again, since I don't have my books with me either, this is a whole mix of artists and writers because each of these issues are 4 short stories. Mike, did you cover these on the previous preview?
I probably highlighted them, because a lot of the these EC books that are being done by who's doing those? I can't remember, but Oni. I think Oni's putting these out. Yeah, I highlighted these.
Yeah, and these are right up my alley. I feel like as my interests in what I want to collect matures, for lack of a better way to put it, whatever, getting older, I like to know, and we talk about this all the time. I have this problem, I feel like even more than you guys do, that trying to jump in is tough in the middle of where am I jumping in, but then also not getting the full story and knowing whether you're going to get back and it's just tough with a long run and a bunch of books sometimes, which I obviously love and I'm going to continue to do, but I'm just bringing that up because these are an easy sell for me. These are like the John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction, where they're self-contained stories, and in some cases like Cruel Universe, they're just a bunch of short stories. So, I'm getting in and getting out in the same issue and, don't have to worry about any of the other stuff I was describing. So like I said, both 1 and 2 are 4 shorts by various artists and writers. And I'm just going to run through these real quick. So in this first one, and this cover actually tells the first story. It's a story about a gladiator slave that essentially in the story becomes numb to the hardships of the suffering of a gladiator, and then he dies. And in the reveal is a twist ending when he dies, that the entire story has been told from the perspective. Basically, the narrating in the story, they're visually giving us the impression it's the guy you see there on the cover, but it ended up being the dinosaur's perspective the entire time.
That's cool.
It was pretty cool, but not it. I felt like the reason they were. I'll get to that when I get to the overall. I'll explain why I feel what I'm getting ready to tell you later. So the second one is called Solo Shift. It's about an astronaut that's studying a black hole by himself out in space until he discovers another ship that he finds a dead lady on, and basically he is trying to investigating of her. He figures out how to, it's kind of like an interstellar thing where he can go back in time by using gravity with the black hole and stuff. And then he discovers he actually killed her. which if he didn't go back in time to discover who killed her, he wouldn't have killed her. Kind of one of those twisty paradoxes,
Mhm.
So again, it was pretty cool. Then Drink Up is about a millionaire genius that's just trying to solve the mysteries of life to become immortal. And he actually does become immortal. But this has a twist ending as well. Obviously, you're seeing a theme in all these stories here. They're trying to be extremely clever to throw you off the scent of what it's actually about until the very end. Then they give you a twist ending. Incidentally, this one about the millionaire, it's called Drink Up, and the ending is he actually gets stuck underground or underwater, but he can never die. He's figured out immortality, but he can never die, but he becomes trapped, submerged underwater. So that wasn't really twisty, but it was kind of like, oh man, that's messed up. Imagine you find out you're immortal, Then lastly, a story called Priceless, where in the future, rich people can pay poor people to do something, and then you can download the experiences of them doing it into your own head. So essentially you think you experienced it. So like if you want to go on a trip to Hawaii, you pay some poor slub on the street to go to Hawaii and go on a vacation. He's obviously having a great time while you're still at work making money. Then when he comes back, you download it into your brain, and it's like you just went on a vacation to Hawaii. I didn't realize how kind of similar that is to what we talked about with the electric.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get to you have all these experiences as if you lived in the entire time, and then the poor person loses the experience. So now it's kind of an oppressive, it's a poor people thing. They can't even enjoy their lives kind of thing because rich people steal their, that kind of thing. This was a pretty interesting story, and it's actually pretty good because one of the rich guys actually learns by the end, shocker, that being a good person and doing good things is actually the what's worth the most in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty interesting. Actually, my favorite one of the book. Then issue 2 gets a little crazier. The first one's called Organic. It's about a future where we're actually cannibals, and and again, I'll get to why I have a problem with this later too. Well, besides from cannibalism, I got some problems with, but in the future, we're cannibals because people start to turn on wanting to protect the animals so much. You know how they're, people against the whole farm industry and industrialized meat packing companies, all this stuff, right? Yeah. So apparently in this future it becomes more moral to be cannibal and eat humans, right? And that are just raised to eat, so they don't have a life in it. It's kind of like a Matrix thing, in the Matrix, they have you hid away to grow you, to use you as a battery. And this, they kind of have you hid away to grow you, just eat you. But then the stupid twist at the end of this one is they're feeding the people animals anyway. So that was dumb.
Oh, that's funny.
And then the next one called Brilliant and Deceived is actually the cover of issue 2, the cover I've got here. This guy loses his wife in a car accident, and he's actually working on how to resurrect people, but he doesn't have funding to do it. His wife dies in a car accident. A rich man actually funds him to actually figure out how to resurrect people. He resurrects his wife. The big twist in this one is once he resurrects his wife was actually cheating on him with the guy that gave him billions to resurrect him, and then they end up killing him. So that was kind of messed up. And then this one's called And the Prophet Said. This guy gets cancer, so he agrees to an experimental medical procedure that gives him the ability to see everything in the future. So he basically helps the company that gave him the experimental ability to see in the future use it in nefarious ways, like, send them to Las Vegas with millions of dollars to bring back billions of dollars and play the lottery and all this craziness. Then you come to find out this company actually is giving people cancer to get them to agree to be this experimental thing to continue to help them be rich. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah. And then lastly, a real short story called Ray Gun. There's really no twist in this one at all. A young man finds a ray gun in the desert and takes out all his frustrations on the world by vaporizing a whole bunch of people. Then he gets arrested and the government saves him, but then they convince him he just imagined all this in his head and it never happened. But twist is it actually did happen, so it was kind of dumb. So anyway, I feel like the writers all had a couple things in common in these 2 issues of Cruel Universe. I feel like they're definitely in some kind of class warfare thing, rich people versus poor people. And also vegetarians. They're totally against kind of the meat processing of the world, that they need to feed the world or whatever, totally against all of that. So overall, with both of these, I'd say there was like one story I enjoyed out of both of them. 2 stories out of both of them I didn't enjoy, and 1 story also out of both of them that were totally repulsive that I hated reading, and I hated the fact that I supported whoever wrote it. So you get a mixed bag with both of these issues, but they both lean into me giving the recommendation to just forget Cruel Universe, unfortunately, because I say unfortunately because, like I said, this kind of thing is totally right up my alley. And while there are a couple enjoyable stories, I feel like overall, I'm not glad I got them. So unfortunately, I'm giving Cruel Universe to forget it. And I actually think I got issue 3 and 4 too. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might actually check them out since I bought them anyway. But I'll stay tuned for that. I'll let you know. But
yeah, I've got all 5.
Oh, you've got all 5. Did you read any of them yet?
Yeah, I read that first one. I thought I reviewed that first one, or maybe I talked to Emily about it, because the black hole one was my favorite one, where he found the woman murdered.
Yeah. And then he
ended up being the one. Yeah, it's like that thing where it just.
Did he review it on the show, Pat?
I don't remember seeing that cover. But it seems like something Mike would review.
Yeah, I may have talked to Emily about it though.
Yeah, I'll give you this, Kevin. You got 2 incredible covers, man. Those are beautiful covers.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah.
The Greg Smallwood did the covers for those, so it's worth getting them at the very least for the covers. I think you have an issue with the cannibalism one. Is that one that
that's definitely the worst one to me. Yeah.
I think that one's kind of interesting, where it shows how extreme some people's ideas are. Where they're so dead set that this is the right way to think, that they'll go so far over the edge the other way. It's like they're so protective of animals and how wrong they see.
That's true.
They feel that it is to eat animals, that they'll eat people instead.
Yeah.
It's like, that just shows, like, man, they are so far over.
Yeah, I guess that one bothered me the most, not only because cannibalism bothers me, but also
it should bother you.
Yeah, I felt like it was a big slight on the meat industry, which I'm not saying they're angels, but I'm just saying, that kind of thing. So I thought it was basically a hit piece.
I don't think it is. I think it's more
fictional, obviously a fictional hit piece, but nevertheless, that's what I got the intent of the story. So not only did I not like the content, but I didn't like what I thought the message was. But I can appreciate what you said, which that is true, So,
but I get it. how I was getting the Creep Show books. Because I like Creep Show. I like the Stephen King Creep Show. Bernie Wrightson did the artwork for it. You know, Romero wrote it and all that stuff. The movies. But yeah, I was reading the stories, and one of the stories, it really felt real agenda driven.
They were trying to mess with it. Yeah.
And I was just like, really? I'm giving money to these people?
Right.
It's like, so I stopped getting all the Creep Show stuff. And there were early on in that series, there were a couple stories I was a little uncomfortable with, just saying, I don't agree with the message here.
You know, that actually why I meant what I kind of skipped over myself, because I wanted to come back and mention, I forgot to, about the cover on this one, about the story. You're under the assumption you're following the gladiator the whole time, but then it ends up being the dinosaur. Mm-hmm. I got the message from that one, and I can't remember whether I retroactively got this message after I read all 4 stories or not, but I also got like a judgy message there, like, you know, animals are people too, you know, and incidentally too, just to let you know, the cover in the book, this dinosaur slave doesn't look exactly like a T-Rex anyway. He looks very T-Rexy. Like he's an alien that looks like a T-Rex. It's not as vividly exact as this cover is inside, you know. So he's just an alien that kind of is like dinosaur-like, you know. So like I said, I felt like it was, you thought it was a human talking the whole time, but it was actually the animal. See, animals have feelings too. That kind of, you know, So that's what I kind of got from this book, which definitely was a big reason why I didn't. Yeah. I'm not recommending it either, but I can definitely see what you're saying. That is a true. That's kind of, you're flipping the script on. You know, hypothetically, let's say I'm right. You're flipping the script on them by saying, "Yeah, look how screwed up you are. You're so screwed up with thinking eating animals is bad. You need a human. You're messed up. You need help." You're kind of flipping the script on. Yeah. I'm gonna go with that for the future, Mike.
Okay.
But anyway, I think I know at the very least, and I thought I mentioned this at the beginning, at the very least, you did previous previews for this.
But yeah, I probably did previous.
Apologize if I double reviewed it.
I just remember talking to somebody about the time travel one. It might have been Emily, because it just, when I read it, it was my favorite one. I read it and I was like, that is so genius, that I probably talked to her about it.
Yeah, it was a paradox. Yeah. Which that's what that's what so many of them do. It's like, which came first? Like if John Connor never went to or not John Connor, but what's his name? Who did Arnold send? Or I mean, who did John send in the first one? What's his name, Pat? Come
on. Yeah, I don't remember.
But he ends up being the father of John Connor.
Yeah.
So where did that loop start? You know, because John Connor couldn't exist if he didn't send him to the past. You know, same paradox. You know, so yeah.
And I think for books like this, when we read them, for me anyway, I'm looking for that Twilight Zone feel.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
because the Twilight Zone TV series is one of the best ever, and they're so great. They're great for that twist ending.
Yeah.
And so that's what I read these looking for that. And I think a lot of times you're kind of right. They fall a little bit short of it. And it's very
in the second issue, one of the stories is literally 3 pages.
Well, that's fun and short.
Yeah. It's literally it's so short, but you know, it was a good one. So anyway,
awesome.
I am on a forget it still on this, but you know, maybe when I read 3 and 4, I might change my mind. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I still get them. I think the series is over. It was only 5 issues. So that was great.
Gotcha.
Like Pat said, great covers, just beautiful work.
Yeah, they are definitely cool.
Kyle Reese,
that's it. Thank you, Pat.
Now you're right. Whenever you say it, you're like, yeah.
Right. That's it. All right, cool. So that's kind of a double split, not only with Mike's Get It. Actually, I missed the end of that. You still giving Gunslinger?
Yeah,
Get It?
yeah.
Mike's Get It. Pat, your Get It, and then my Forget It with Mike's backup on it with a Get It. So there you go. All right, Pat, are you ready for a segment that I've heard is going to make me hungry, I guess? Something like that? I don't know.
I'll make you something.
Okay.
All right. Let's check in on our good boy, Beathir, as we enter the last week of the crowdfunding for this massive piece of action figure goodness.
Hey, if you call this a monstrosity, would that be an insult?
No.
That's what they're going for here. Right?
Yeah, in fact, they wanted to portray his monstrosity in detail this week because, a lot of people are looking at him, is zoomed out far away, and they wanted to show all the detail of this guy that, all the sculpting work that went into making this figure.
So
they were trying to kind of highlight that, all the individual sculpting work on the scales and the wings and everything that went into this. And they were also at the beginning of the week trying to hype up, they shifted gears, by the way, since we last talked, because everybody loved this guy so much that they didn't make him a stretch goal. He was part and parcel of the base dragon package, but you still had to hit that stretch goal to get his upgraded equipment. So that was one good thing, but they didn't have to worry. They didn't have to worry because, as a matter of fact, as we were starting the show this morning, I had to kind of shift gears and pull up some new picks and reconfigure the numbers because things are going well for the Beathir campaign. There's kind of a graphic of where they are. There's still a lot of stretch goals for the base dragon figure that they can unlock, but the two side add-on things have been the fiery breath has been totally unlocked, and they're very close to totally unlocking the epic wings add-on portion of the thing. And we gotta see that in graphic form here. There's the base dragon 550, the base Benegar figure is unlocked. They're very close to unlocking his upgrade set, which is important. He looks much cooler with all his add-on stuff.
Yeah.
Not sure they'll get to the skeleton and the upgrade for the skeleton. And then if you notice, it's kind of hard to see, but there's do they even talk about it here? Yes. If they reach 4,000, Beathir's Fury is unlocked, and they haven't said what that is.
That's intriguing.
So I don't know if they'll ever show it or what it is or what it was if they don't make it, but we'll see with 1 week left. There's the Fiery Breath add-on set. It's been totally unlocked. So you get, not only the Fiery Breath feature in the figure, but you get all of his additional stuff. And there's the Epic Wings add-on set, which it's been unlocked and the zombie has been unlocked. We're just trying to get the rest of his upgrade stuff.
Man,
so cool.
It is real. Yeah, I think those up close photos really they show the details so well. So much went into these.
Yeah,
Man,
imagine.
Really
yeah.
nice. If I owned that, I'd catch myself just sitting there staring at it. Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Looking at those details.
Yeah. So You know, I've seen a couple other YouTubers talk about this, and that, you know, it's like they'd love to get it. It is cost prohibitive. You know, it's, you know, if you get everything, you're nearing $1,000 for everything. But then there's also the elephant in the room, no pun intended, is where in the heck do you put this thing? And
On
they're
the
like,
mantle.
yeah, they're like, they don't feel like they have enough space to properly display it. So there's no sense in doing, you know, committing to this. So there's always that too, when you have to.
What was your joke, Mike?
Well,
What'd you say?
on the
Where you-
mantle.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But also, I mean, Kevin, take yourself back to the early 2000s
Oh, yeah.
when you and I were buying statues. Where are we going to put it? That wasn't even a factor.
It was just in the middle of the living room, and
I don't care. I'm going to put it somewhere, and it doesn't even come into the decision making process at all.
Yeah, I so somebody else, another show I was watching said it wasn't even specific to Baythea. They're like, that's not the deal. You buy it and worry about that later. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, totally. And so that's the double niche market they're going for. Someone that can afford it and be young enough to not forethink about space or just not care about and just put it anywhere. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And I can just imagine, you know, I don't think we really talked about this aspect of it, is if you were, you know, a big fan of their Mythic Legions line and you have all these other figures already.
Oh my God.
You know, this is like, you almost have to have this, you know, if you're, be all encompassing and buying all into the Mythic Legions line, because there's so much already out there that this will just go right along with it and just top it off practically. So we'll see. Like I said, 1 week left to go. It seems like they're going to hit the main goals that were unlockable, but we'll see if they get to that Fury goal.
Yeah, I got
1,000.
Gotta see that Fury
just to see what it is, right? Yeah.
I might just send them $5 to add to it.
Pat, when you are you finding this stuff just because you subscribe to Horseman and you see when they put out stuff and then you go to the site and check it all out? Is that how you not trying to steal your secrets, but
Oh, well, I do follow Four Horsemen, but I'm trying to remember, exactly. I think I follow so many toy sites that somebody just said, the Four Horsemen have announced this dragon figure, and then you go down the hole of trying to find out all the information on them. So yeah,
because that's what the reason I was asking is because that's one thing I loved about the Hasbro was how they'll have those live streams and whatever when they're announcing stuff, and I was wondering if they had this kind of, and they showed, because I'd love to see the articulation. That's the whole other thing about the articulation about how it works with all this too. So
that's a good question. I do follow them, but I don't believe I remember them posting any videos, but they may have, and I just missed it.
Gotcha.
So
very cool. Yeah.
All right. Let's move to let's show a Bandai piece. I have a lot of Bandai imported robot stuff, but I don't feel like I talk about them much. And this is sort of robot metal adjacent. And actually this was ready to go for last show, but I did not do it. But the American orders have been popping up, so I figured, what the heck. And that is Speed Racer's Mach 5 and then the Joe Gogan line. This is a 1/18th scale piece. I don't think there's any shots that show it with measurements on it, but it's basic. You go to your toy car aisle. I think the bigger Jadas are actually a little smaller than 1/18th. I think they're 1/12th or 1/14th. So this is going to be a little bigger. This is where it gets tricky because you could have pre-ordered this directly from Japan, and the prices varied greatly depending on who you order from. I saw as low as 313 to 384 ordering straight from Japan. Of course, there you probably have to pay shipping. and it went up. The reason I'm revisiting this because I saw a listing for Amazon this week finally, but it's listed on Amazon at $505.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll get into now. Now we'll run through what makes up this piece. It
Are
is
those private sellers on Amazon, though, you think?
no, that's not a private seller.
Oh, really? Wow.
This is awesome.
It is. I love it. This is up there with the Batman 66 Batmobile as far as one of the most iconic cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Yeah.
Just love it.
It's going to get more awesome as we run through this too, so get ready. One thing I don't know, and I this just struck me because I noticed the base, it's Mach Go on the base there. I don't know if they're doing a separate US base that's Speed Racer, because they have done that, like for Voltron, for instance, they did that where it actually has interchangeable face plates, so you get the Japanese and the American name. You can swap in and out. So let's get running through them. There's a close up of Speed and Trixie. I'm not even. I can't even tell you their Japanese names. We'll just call them Speed and Trixie as we go. There's a shot, side view. There's top view, rear view. It comes with a case, apparently, like a display case.
That's awesome.
Excuse me. It lights up. It has light up features. Okay. Now you're going to start to see all the, many features that the Mach 5
top
has.
too. The top closes for the bubble.
Yep. The top canopy, so you can go underwater, and the little periscope in the back. There's the bird camera that he would shoot out and investigate. There's the buzz saws in the front. There's the jacks to make them jump. There it shows.
Are these attachments, or are they mechanical, like they go inside and come out, or are they just
I think it's sort of both.
If you go back to the earlier picture, you can see the jacks underneath. It's like that side view. I think you had one more right there.
Oh yeah, okay.
I saw those. I'm like, I wonder if the jacks are working, but I don't know where they go inside of there.
Right. So they probably have like a false, retracted piece that interchanges in and out with the fully retracted.
Okay.
That's a lot of times what they do. But I cut the picture for space issues, but there was an underneath shot of the buzzsaws coming out, sort of folded up. So I don't know about those. There it shows everything opened up, so you can see the engine and the doors open and the trunk. So Spritle and Chim Chim can hop in. They're not included though. And there's sort of like a view of
look at that,
all the different things. So like I said, it's unfortunate. It is a higher priced Bandai metal Chogokin item. But you would have been better off jumping on the Japanese pre-orders instead of the Amazon prices. Now I should have checked like Big Bad and tried to see what their prices were, but it is a pricey piece. But it's cool.
I like that base, how it just cradles the whole car.
Yeah.
That's
kind of how my Expanse Rocinante spaceship is. I love those bases that just cradles that you just set it on there.
Yep.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna take this guy off, but I'll keep him because Toylanta is happening this weekend, and some things were revealed down there. In fact, where it's gonna impacts something I have later on. But I also saw additional Jada items that were put up this weekend, but I don't have pictures of them. But I'm going to show the picture of the one item I do. There's cereal mascots line. They did Count Chocula and Frankenberry, and they did Boo Berry as an exclusive. Those Frankenberry and Count Chocula showed up at Ross, but I have not been able to find them.
Hey, so sorry to interrupt you, Pat. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you one more question about Speed Racer before you moved on.
Yeah.
Are those figures removable and stuff? Or are those like permanent in the car, kind of?
Yeah, I thought there was a shot that had them out. I don't know.
They look permanent. Like they don't look like there's any articulation to them at all.
Yeah, they don't. I don't believe they're articulated, but I thought that I saw a picture with them out of the vehicle. I'll update you with that.
That's another thing. Do they have a? You might actually be aware of this already, Pat. Is there a Speed Racer action figure line?
There has been, yeah.
Yeah.
Numerous, yeah.
Have you showed them on this show?
There hasn't been anything recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the one, we talk about, and there's not a real close up, but I did have a close up of like the cockpit area, the dash, whatever you want to call it. And the one thing I felt was a little lacking was, in the center hub of the steering wheel, that's where he accesses all his gadgets, and they're lettered, right? It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but they're not on this toy, at least as they have been showing it. They're just, you can see the buttons, but they're not, labeled as such. And there's other things that are that detailed on the dashboard, the instrument panel. So you would,
but not that, huh?
but not that. So it's kind of odd.
Yeah.
But, okay, Jada, the cereal mascot. So they're continuing that. And this guy, I don't know. I don't really care about this character, but I thought this figure looked awesome, especially in the action shots. And that's Tony the Tiger. Okay.
Nice.
I never in a million years would have thought he would have got his own action figure, but
Right.
here we are. And he just looks so on model. I don't know. He looks great.
Yeah, he does look good. Yeah.
There he is. I'm not sure. I kind of do remember basketball related commercials with Frosted Flakes, but it's, they really ran with that because
they went with that as a theme. Yeah.
Nice spinning action on that ball too.
Yeah. But like I said, they had two more. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll do it next show for sure because I'm fans of the character. So think about cereal mascots and who that could be. This next one, we talked privately about this, but I had already pulled the picture, so I wasn't sure if you were joking or not. And that is Three's Company.
I don't know if I was joking either. I mean, these are kind of cool.
These are by Syndicate Collectibles. I think they're sort of newish. We had talked about them, I think at last year's Toy Fair or San Diego Comic-Con, because they have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, but I don't believe I've ever seen the end results anywhere. But it could be like a niche, comic shops only, or maybe in like specialty, like Books A Million or FYE or whatever. Because I went back and looked, and sure enough, they had shown Golden Girl prototypes and sure, I'm blanking now. The movie with Christian Slater,
Heathers.
No, Quentin Tarantino
True Romance?
wrote it. Yeah, True Romance.
Romance.
Yeah.
They showed True Romance figures, but I haven't seen if they ever made it out yet. So yeah, these are the 3 3/4 inch retro style action figures. Taking a page from Super 7, really cool card art, I think. And the figures look pretty good actually too, for what they are, but they're even more expensive than Super 7. They're $25 retail. So yeah,
I'm not so sure if you had these out of the box and not together, you could tell who they were though.
Yeah, they do have that retro resemblance.
Right.
Like nowadays there's a lot of them they really get the likeness real close. These are they're off a little bit. I mean, Janet I think is the closest.
Yeah, I agree.
Jack's the furthest away. Unfortunately, with $25 a piece, I'm priced out on these. If these are like $10 a piece, I'd probably buy them.
Yes.
A lot of even the Super 7 stuff. If they're around $10,
Yep.
that's my price point. 20 is I can't do it.
I agree. 10 bucks would be great. I guess if they were 10, we'd probably be saying, well, they should be 5. But I've often thought that, $10 is fair for a 3 3/4 inch figure these days. But
that's why we just wait for them to go on clearance. But these are fun. Yeah.
I saw the months ago, maybe even they had a couple Parks and Rec reaction figures, and they were on sale. They were on not clearance. They were on sale for like $375 or $275.
Wow.
But it was like John Ralphio and Perd Hapley.
Oh,
okay.
But I was like, should I get them? Because they're so cheap. But I gotta keep telling myself, just because they're cheap, you shouldn't be buying them. But then I'm like, well, what if I end up getting the rest of them, and then I won't be able to find these? Because and as a matter of fact, nobody bought them, and they went back to full price. And last week they were on sale for like $18.75 or something like that. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We're gonna stick with TV related figures, and we have from NECA, they're Tiny Terrors. If you guys remember, the Tiny Terrors or the Tiny Toons, it's sort of the cartoony. They're in Target all the time. You've probably seen them.
Yeah.
They're doing What We Do in the Shadows. Now it's unclear. I've tried to track this down, seeing if they would answer people. But right now they have them up for sale on the NECA site as a set for $75. I don't know if they're going to be available individually carded at stores or not yet.
They look really good.
Usually like the $15, I think, is what they go for, if I'm not mistaken. All right, a lot of DC or a lot of McFarlane stuff. I'll run through. This is Year 2 Batman. This is the collector's edition line, $30 retail. And as a matter of fact, I always talk about how Todd doesn't show a lot in advance. His stuff is shown, and then next week you're gonna find it at Walmart, and that's the case with these collector's editions right here, because people are already finding them. Year 2 Batman, Adam Strange, and Deadshot, and they announced in their Page Punchers line, Kingdom Come Superman. A lot of people, the scuttlebutt about this figure was his temples should be grayer, whiter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He doesn't look old like yeah.
And the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
That looks good.
And this is with these Page Punchers, I think they were normally like $24.95, and this is the first time this has reared its head, and we'll probably see more of this because McFarlane came out and said they had to raise the prices because of the tariffs, because all our action figures are coming from China, and this is what's going to start happening. So they said that these are going to retail for $27.99. So
yeah, I think sometimes people are going to say it's because of the tariffs just as an excuse.
Yeah. Yep. This I thought was pretty nice. This is the 1/10 scale Harley Quinn statue based on Jenny Frison artwork.
Nice.
Couple shots of that. She is $180, which is, I don't know. It's 7-inch statue. That seems a little high to me. Do get the hyenas, I guess. But I think they it does look like the artwork, I think. Maybe not 100%, but pretty well done.
Just not a fan of that Harley.
Yeah, I can understand that too. And then to finish up McFarlane, I think. Wait, what's this one here? Oh no, I'm right. We got some more Todd's mods.
Okay.
Superman.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Yeah, it's the human characters that suffer being Todd modded, I feel. Because Killer Croc looks all right.
Yeah, yeah.
King Shark, he's goofy, but he still works, I guess.
That one's awesome. Yeah.
And then we have a repaint of Batman. And he's exclusive to the McFarlane web store, apparently.
Well, this is kind of looking like absolute Batman anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I should just call him that. All right.
Yeah, the Superman's definitely the worst.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you go to Batman again real quick?
Yep.
I feel like for some reason, probably because it's Batman's mask, the disproportionality of Superman makes the Superman look worse. But maybe the mask helps Batman with that.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I bet you collectively, you get them all on a shelf, they all probably look really cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of like when Pat puts all 10 of my covers together.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a Star Wars live stream this week. And I thought that there's some pretty good stuff shown. All stuff interesting to me, at least. Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka. Night Trooper. Oh, there's another picture of Ezra in action, so you get an idea. I guess I pulled 2 shots each for these. The Night Trooper from Ahsoka as well. There he is, out of the box.
Yeah, I guess.
You guess?
I'm thinking I don't like it, but I guess it's legit.
Those are your typical $25 Black Series 6-inch figures. This is a deluxe one.
I just realized what I don't like about it.
Yeah.
You can see his nose outside the mask, but it looks like his nose is still on the mask. You know, like, so the mask should be lower. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I see what you're saying. Yep. It looks like like his eyes wouldn't be lining up with the lenses.
Right, exactly.
His
Yeah.
nose is that. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter to these magic
Undead.
A deluxe figure.
2 Andor 2 dropped, right?
What's that?
Andor 2 dropped, right?
I think it's this week or next.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
From Skeleton Crew, SM33. He's a deluxe. There he is out of the packaging. They made a point to show that the little mouse that lives inside his skull, that pokes out of his eye hole, is included. He's super tiny.
Yeah, I can barely see.
Can you see him there? Yeah. So
They were pulling him out with tweezers. He's so tiny.
Oh man.
So good luck keeping track of that thing.
Yeah. He was definitely a high point of the show. I like him. He's cool.
Yeah, I did too. And then the final Black Series wasn't shown on the live stream, but it was shown later in the week. And this year's Star Wars celebration is in Japan. And fittingly, they have this figure from Star Wars Visions, the Ronin figure with R5D56.
Best part of Visions, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're saying he is strictly a celebration exclusive for $70. So this is, this is going to be scalped out the wazoo if that's true, because first of all, it comes with this great presentation box that unfolds, and there you can see the figure inside, and there's a close up of the actual figures. So, and probably what will happen is these will get individual releases later, because they've put the money into tooling and sculpting and tooling and things like that. So They might get a different release down the line, but apparently the only way you're going to be getting this guy is going to Japan or knowing somebody that's attending Celebration in Japan.
The sad part about that too is $70 actually isn't a bad price if you could find it for that. For this presentation and 2 figures, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. Then we'll move to vintage, and we had talked about the land speeder, but they officially announced that there's the box art. Luke comes individually carded. You know, this gets everyone's goat that he is considered a deluxe vintage series figure, so he gets the bigger, wider card just because he has a couple extra accessories, I guess. There they are, side by side there, out of package. And this continues the whole Cantina push because they crowdfunded the Cantina earlier, and they're trying to fill it out with different things. So you get the land speeder. The land speeder is $60 retail. Then they also announced Dengar, everyone's favorite sad sack bounty hunter. He looks pretty much like the Dengar we've always had. I don't know. They talked up his, the technology they use now, the laser printing on the face to make it more accurate. But, I don't know.
What did we actually get to see Dengar in action in? What was he in?
He's just an Empire.
Huh?
Empire.
No. A Disney show.
Oh, live action? I don't think he was in any live action, was he?
Might have been an animated.
Yeah, he was in Rebels, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the Disney Plus Clone Wars. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember starting to have an affinity for him a little bit. I hated him back in the day, but diaper head or yes.
Yeah, right.
but yeah, seeing his character and whatever it was that I saw him, I can't remember now either. I started to think he was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then definitely from the Clone Wars, we have Asajj Ventress. There she is out of the package. And let's see, who else do we have from Rebels? We just keep going from show to show. We have Callus. They're using animated card art, but they're saying this is the first time he's had a realistic looking figure, translated from the cartoon or the animated show. And then their big thing for the live stream was, everybody was asking for him, and they got him. They only had to get him, but they got the actor that portrays him, and that's a Carson Teva figure from The Mandalorian. They show here he is out of the box, so you can see him holding his helmet, and then you can see him with the helmet on. And they did it was actually fairly funny, and it was nicely done with the actor.
Nice.
If you get a chance, that alone is worth going back and checking out that little short bit there.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hey, since you got the ghost there, I was just looking at your gift you gave me, and there's actually another attachment to it too, sold separately. Did you see that? Did you notice it?
Yeah, because there's a big deluxe set where you get
all of it,
everything. Yeah.
Wow. So I still got to buy the Y-wing that attaches to the side.
Yeah. The gift set actually comes with 2 Y-wings, one for each side, and I think the Phantom as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, I'm so close to setting that up perfectly and having it hanging somewhere. I want to take it out of the box so bad,
Yeah.
Keep it out of the box. I'm leaning towards that with almost all of my collectibles that I plan on keeping. Like that's going to be my, hedge mark with if I keep something quote unquote forever or not, I'm going to only keep what I actually bust out and display. I don't have, you got to decide with the space you have and just having stuff displayed on card. I think I'm going to go the route of I want to break it out and display it.
Yeah. Yep. Paul Lee. I meant to mention his name. That's the actor's name, Paul Lee, that plays Carson Teva. Thought I had it written down, but I didn't, so I looked it up. All right. Finally, to bookend the crowdfunding situation, we have the announcement of Longbox Heroes Wave 2. So here's Wave 1. I backed this. Boy, it seems like forever ago. I think it was like 3 years maybe ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Can I interrupt you real quick again, Pat? Before you get deep into this, it's a Star Wars comment, okay?
Mhm.
And the reason this is striking me right now is, I just asked you about Andor, whether it's out or if it's coming out next week. It's here, season 2 Andor.
Mhm.
I'm excited about that. And there is so much Star Wars, and obviously in this particular one, you've covered so many different, all the aspects of Star Wars. It's it. Say what you want about Disney or the evolution of Star Wars over the years. There's just something for everyone. You know what I mean? And that's what I think a lot of people miss the point about what they've done with Star Wars. There's still good stuff, no matter what you think, for everybody to appreciate. And it's kind of making me think a little bit differently about Star Wars. I'm not saying they're not doing some things that I definitely think are dumb or don't like or whatever, but there's just so much anyway. It's kind of like I mentioned it on the last show, just don't be a jerk. If you don't like it, just don't be a part of that. But then, be a part of what you do like. And there's definitely Star Wars just is still running the gambit on that, Anyway, I just wanted to preach that real quick.
Well, there should be more people like you, Kevin. Then there'd be less petty arguments in the Star Wars fandom, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because you're right. There is stuff. It's just, if it's not for you, just move on. Because there's definitely still some stuff out there that will probably interest you. So
yeah. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, Longbox Heroes Wave 1. So it was $150 if you went all in for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures, but you got a free mystery figure at the time, which was Airboy. So you got 7 figures for $150. They were basically $25 each. So that was through Big Bad Toy Store. You had to pre-order through Big Bad Toy Store. They had to meet certain goals. Now they're announcing Wave 2. There's the whole wave. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 figures. And this is what makes it tough for me, because so the whole wave is $275 to go all in this time.
Wow.
So, ouch. So,
Yeah.
and it's the same deal as Wave 1. You get a mystery figure free, quote unquote free, if you go all in. But we'll run through who's in this lineup. Radioactive Tick. We had a Tick in Wave 1. This is Radioactive Tick. So. Apparently a lot of people were asking for him though. And if we finally get Arthur, because you have the Tick, you want Arthur to go with him.
Of course.
We have Christine Spar, Grendel, the female Grendel.
Yeah.
Kevin Matchstick from Mage. Savage Dragon, the original OG. Well, not the original Savage Dragon, but the original from Image Savage Dragon by Eric Larson. Grendel Prime. We have Tim Seeley's character, Hallow Fire. Not familiar with her.
Me neither.
We have Betty from the Rocketeer. We have the Rocketeer himself, although I think they're calling him Cliff Secord because he comes with the unmasked helmet, swappable helmet, because apparently the Rocketeer is the figure that's going for the most in the secondary market since he sold out from Wave 1. So they're kind of doing a way to re-release him, but not making everybody mad that owns.
So that's a swappable head. It's not a helmet.
Swappable head.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with Toy Otter, Jason Gyers, who said they were going for more accuracy because, if you do the helmet over the head, the helmet would have to look oversized and it would look off model. So
Right. But go back to the whole wave picture again real quick.
Yep.
Oh, I would. Okay, never mind. I thought he was holding his helmet. I would be like, if that's his whole head, then anyway, go ahead.
From the Tick, we got the Hedge Ninja, which you can army build. That was sort of the joke with the Hedge Ninja because they had, they were hiding in plain sight, holding up the branch.
Yeah.
And then we have Malcolm Dragon, the Image Dragon's son, Malcolm. So, yeah, that's your lineup. Plus, there's one mystery figure if you do go all in. Here's the new revised card art, which was awesome before. I like this just as well. I should have had an example of the first one. The only real difference is I don't know if this is a plus or minus. It definitely makes the card art cleaner, but Wave 1 had their actual like logo, like Savage Dragon. The actual logo would have been below them. Now they're just using like typeface to keep it, sort of more consistent. So basically the way you do this on Kickstarter is you either go all in and get the free figure, or you buy a la carte and you buy whichever figures you want at $25 a pop. But here are the stretch goals. At $150, the blank slate is unlocked. He's only $15. It's for customizing purposes, and I guess he sort of is a character. Not familiar. This just announced yesterday at Toylanta. The next stretch goal at 160,000 is Tarzan. At 165,000 is Death Defier, aka Daredevil. He's public domain, but I feel like they just didn't want to call him Daredevil just to you know why.
I thought Tarzan was Disney. How do they have Tarzan?
I think he's probably public domain as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Is there a time limit on that to be automatic?
Yeah, it's so many years, right? I can't remember. We should know this because I think we've talked about this from time to time.
Yeah, they keep moving the goalposts though.
Yeah,
as like characters like Batman are getting close to it, and Mickey Mouse and stuff. They keep moving things, so they don't go into public domain, which is it's shady because there's just so much money to be made that they keep changing the rules.
Yeah. But I know Eric Larson has used them in Savage Dragon and called him Daredevil, but and then at 170,000 we get a 2-pack of Henchmen for $40.
Nice.
175 we get Phantoma. What if you guys can pull this guy's name, the creator, what's his name? Fletcher.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's this really weird series. I'm trying to think of what the male character's name was, but this figure has always intrigued me. She's so weird,
Yeah.
She's been done in other lines too. So she's a $25 unlock at 175. And then finally at, not finally, the only one they showed unlocking at 185,000, they jumped 10,000 this time, is what they're calling Safety Madman. This will be the third, I believe, Madman variant. So yeah, there you go. Yep. Are you seeing the name of the male character? He's sort of like a Superman type character.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if
making Matt this is so okay. So let's go back to the lineup here. I am not going all in just because it's $275 plus shipping, and also they mentioned the Terrafin pack. They're like, if it ends up the shipping costs end up being ridiculous, getting these figures out of China, it's going to impact shipping. So that scares me too. But I'm in for 100 so far. I backed Arthur, Kevin Matchstick, and the 2 dragon figures. And, next up on my want list would be the Madman figure. Unfortunately, he's, at the highest unlocking tier right now. But they also announced 4 figures in the shadows, per se, silhouettes. But 2 of them were easy to figure out. One of them especially was easy. And based on what they've talked about in the past, the other one was easy. The first one is Jack Staff on the left there. The one in the middle is Super Patriot from Savage Dragon. That's fairly obvious. And then going by last fall, Toy Otter Jason Geyers sort of previewed. He did a fall preview of potential figures, and you can tell. I'm guessing that Miss Fury is the second one over there. Yeah, because it just looks like her silhouette. So, and you can see it's funny because they're calling the Daredevil public domain character Berserker here, and then they ended up changing him to Death Defier. So yeah,
nice detective work there, Pat.
I can't figure out the last one though. I don't know who that is. It was funny because I should have kept the picture in here. But when they showed this reveal from yesterday from Toylanta, I thought for sure it was the Badger because he had shown a prototype of him like last year, and it looked like it was the Badger. You couldn't see the little loincloth hanging down, dangling there, and but you could. After I went back and looked at it, you could almost see the individual toes, like the bare feet. So yeah, I thought I had nailed the Badger, but it was not to be. So I love this line. I don't love it enough to back the entire wave.
Yeah, I mean, you're over $200. That's hard.
Yeah, $275 plus shipping.
You have all of the first line, right?
Yeah,
I and everything.
Yeah. There was okay. So the wave one, what you don't see here is they did a Rocketeer like sub wave too. So, but you could order a Rocketeer separately if you backed the main wave. Yeah. Then you could. There was Rocketeer, and then there were some like army builder villain type Rocketeer type figures in that first go around. So yeah.
Very cool.
I'd love to get all of them and support the line. Okay, so as of this morning, they need to hit 150,000. They're only at 46,681. They have 3.5 weeks to go. So we'll see. I'd hate to see it not fun because I want those dragon figures especially. But before guys, any more comments on that? Because I have one short little add-on to this.
Last thing is when you get to these characters, it's such a niche market, they're small market characters. It's hard to get that crazy funding.
Yeah. Here's one thing that killed me because I watched, maybe I'll try to have these if we talk about the continuing to keep track of the funding on this wave too. I saw an interview on YouTube with Jason Geyers and Fresh Monkey Fiction, and they showed how this all came to be, and they showed what was initially the first wave, and the first figure, the very first long box hero prototype figure. Can you guess who that could have been? He has not made it at this point in time. And why it would make me. Here's a clue. It's why it makes me so upset that this did not happen. That's a big clue.
Hellboy.
Sorry.
Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
why hasn't he made it?
He'd be a big draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically it comes down to like licensing. You know, they want to keep they wanted to keep it, especially at the time where they started this, they wanted to keep his license open because they were getting ready to start the Crooked Man movie. So, you know, they wanted to potentially keep the license open for a bigger company to make more figures. They even said that the creators aren't making much off this line. They said, so you either have to, and they talked about Mike Allred specifically. You know, they said he's a huge action figure line. He just wants to see his figures made into action figures. So he's not totally concerned about bottom line and making a ton of money. He just wants to get his figures out there. So a lot of times when they approach these creators, if the profit margins weren't enough for them to give their character out and license them into this line, they just weren't going to do it. So there's a little of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks for people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually showed an entire what they intended to do was to sort of do them in waves at first, like character specific waves, and they had 4 Hellboy figures ready to roll.
Wow.
Yeah, so it kind of stinks. But yeah, but they even said on the video I watched that it's the door's not closed. It's just not happening now. You know, they kind of hyped themselves and said, you know, hey, you know, make this wave 2 a huge success, and then we can, you know, go back to Mike Mignola again and reapproach him about Hellboy being put in this line.
Yeah.
Then just to tack on one last minute thing that was announced yesterday, I think at Toylanta also, was in the Long Box Hero line, and that is a 6-inch prestige series for the Long Box Heroes, and the first figure out of the gate is the Tick.
Ouch.
So yeah, a couple shots of him in action. Yep.
Nice
3 different heads, you know. $40 retail on him. So yeah. Even though he is not crowdfunded, he can order them right now in Big Bad Toy Store. Fresh Monkey Fiction sort of they've entered this collaboration with Big Bad Toy Store. Oh boy, what's the name of it? Is it maybe even on there? Oh, Big Bad Workshop is the name of sort of the combined effort to make toys here. And this will be their first offering. You can order him, I believe, right now. So yeah, two big crowdfunding things wrapped up with some other goodness in between, but that'll do it for the Horizon this week.
That is all the fixins. Man, that stuff is so great. But we say it all the time, to have enough space and money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Wish I had a shed in my backyard where I can put everything.
But even then, you know,
at some point I'd say, I wish I had another shed.
Yeah. I'm already at my wife's wit's ends with, how many storage units do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, when I think about, you know, you see those storage units, especially on like Hoarder episodes or Storage Wars or whatever, that are just like cram packed to the brim everywhere with everything. The way Xcellar Bravo is right now is the limits as to where the way I would want one to be. I want it more like Alpha is, all organized, looking nice, things set up looking cool. Gotta have it like that.
Every time I'm there, I'm like, I need to set aside a Saturday to come down and get this fixed.
Yeah. But especially with Alpha, with all the collectibles you have set up and kind of displayed.
Oh, yeah.
Looks so cool. Looks so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So we'll get Bravo.
I'd imagine that's what I imagine Pat's house looks like. Just looks so cool and displayed and organized everywhere.
Nah.
It's like things are displayed, not necessarily organized.
My son has to learn to display his own stuff in his own space. That's sort of the problem these days. He wants all his stuff down, you know,
He's overflowing.
Not even overflowing. He just wants it all down in the main living room area, you know. It's like,
he wants the prime real estate. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. All right, but yeah, once again, that was awesome. Awesome, Pat. Great job. All right, I guess what? I actually fulfilled my duties this week.
Nice.
Secret. I've got an unwrap.
Yeah, I bought two. So
did we all get one this week?
Yes.
Yeah. One for this week and for the next show. So I'm good. I can just zone out and not even worry about it for a few weeks.
You know, that's what happened to me the first week. I didn't have any. I had bought so many at the beginning to where I'm like, I'm good for months. And then all of a sudden I was out and it creeped up on me. So
yeah.
All right, but let's show them though. All right, Mike, what are you showing this week?
All right, I've got Demon Slayer. These are great posing figures.
Nice.
So what I like about these is they're not the little backpack clip things or plushy things.
Yeah, I was just thinking that this week when I was looking through the aisle. I was thinking, you know what? They're all just a little bit off for what I'd want personally. You know, whether they're a backpack clip or a just a plush or something, you know, just give me a little cool looking figure.
So I got this one with Cora in mind, and she would prefer I think it's Goyo Tomioka, which is right here.
Okay.
Or Muchiro Taquito, which is right down here. So those are the two that she's
okay.
So what I want to kind of rehash is with Deadly Tales of Gunslinger, issue 4 and 5, Chad Harden artwork. It's a kind of a standalone story within the larger story arc. So if you're not getting the book, at least check those two issues out. Fantastic artwork. A cool story too, because the circus, it's kind of neat with those characters. Oh, this looks like Michael Jackson, who's a criminal, but it's actually Muzan Kibitsusi or whatever down here, right here. So there you go.
It's a miss, but that one still looks pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a miss. Oh, it's got a pretty cool base. Let me see how this goes together while you guys do yours.
What you got, Pat?
Okay, so I'm actually very excited about this one because when we first started doing this, reports out of Walmart was these were available at Walmart, and our Walmart did not have them. They never did get them, but there's another series out. I just so happened to be at Walmart, and they had just put the fresh case out, and that is Transformers Blockies.
Oh, okay.
These from what I've seen, and you know, I'm not gonna be able to assemble this because it takes some assembling. But they seem awesome. I've seen lots of coverage on these. The sculpts are really cool. The posability is really cool, and the price is really cool. They're only like they're $5. They're like $4.84 or something at Walmart. And it's funny because, like I said, I was in there right when they put these out. Actually the shrink, I don't know, I'm guessing not an employee ripped the shrink wrap off and got into the box, but they were untouched. The full case was still there. So I step out of the way. I'm scrambling, doing my usual investigation, trying to cheat the system so I can get who I want to see if that's possible with these guys. If there's a code or a box layout, because sometimes the figures are in the same layout, and I got a fresh case, so I'm like, here we go. And I step out of the way, get on my phone, and then I see this guy that I've seen before haunting the toy aisles. He's like sort of my nemesis. You guys, I probably have come across these kind of people in your day, or like you try to beat them to the punch.
No, definitely.
Various things. I'm like, oh no. And of course he goes right to the Transformers box.
Wow.
And he took the first 3 right in the front. He took, bam, bam, bam. He just took 3 of them. So I'm like, my choices are already narrowed down. Yeah. I tried to find information. I found out that people have weighed them, but I didn't have my scale with me. And I already looked like a goofball anyway. They were dwindling rapidly. So after the fact, I went and looked at the weights, and my guy is saying 77. Oh, he's backwards. 77.6 grams. And according to what I have found on the internet, whether this is entirely true or not, but there are only 2 figures that are in the 77 gram range, and that is Megatron and Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime's secret variant. So that's fine by me, because that's probably who I'd want anyway, because I'm not a huge Transformers fan, and you probably can't, there's a lot to go through there.
Oh yeah.
So, and there, there's the secret Optimus. And by the way, these are based on the Transformers 1 movie. So they're not, they have the weird names, like I think Kevin mentioned, like Megatron's called D16 Cog or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And I'll start opening it. Like I said, I won't be able to put them together, but I'll be able to tell who he is. For my recap of my own review, if you have totally skipped out on Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman, it's well worth going back and picking up all those issues, or in Mike's case, you already have all those issues. You just need to read them. Because I think he did a great job. I only wish maybe he wouldn't have been forced off the book prematurely. So.
Yep.
Okay, I'm pretty excited about mine too, because I found something completely new that I hadn't seen before, and this falls right into my, as I've told you, I'm trying to get these 4 people, but it's another plush. Like I said, a plush dangler, but it is, you can't see with my green screen. Oh yeah.
It is.
Wings of Fire dragons. It's got a whole bunch. And of course, this is going to go to my lovely wife, as long as it's a dragon she likes. And I'm just going to guess that this Queen Scarlet Dragon is going to be what I want, because I think that's the one my wife actually might make some use of. It's kind of your, kind of what the cool dragon on the front, I'd imagine, would look like if you made him cartoony plush. So we'll see. And my recap is, if you're looking for a bunch of mid TV and movie viewing, you can pretty much check out anything I reviewed on the show today. Because as good as all of them are, they're all got some frustrations going along with them too. So, oh man,
I got the black one I saw at the bottom.
Yeah, I got the black one, which actually was what I was going to say. If I were to want one myself, it'd be the black one. He looked pretty cool. So this one looks pretty cool.
Looks like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking that. I mean, you saw the animated, but this looks really good. Lilo and Stitch too. I think I was talking to Patrick about that.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Hilarious.
So with mine, you get 2 individual bags.
Oh, it's like Lego.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think where it all comes from. They're called blockies, because they're sort of Lego type based.
Yeah.
Your instruction manual, And to steal a joke from a YouTuber I watch about video games, you get a tasty treat. Save that for later.
Yeah.
Sprinkle that on your toast. We'll come back around. But the base for these are kind of cool. It's just clear and you slide it right in.
That is cool.
So yeah, I kind of like the base there. Let's see. This will. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the show. It's not really a recap, but it's just an add-on to when we're talking about the music stuff. There's a documentary. If you're into documentaries, 4-part on the Tragically Hip. Everybody should check out. It's called No Dress Rehearsal, and it's on Prime. 4 episodes. It's up for I think 7 or 8 awards, Canadian awards. Fantastic for you if you're into music documentaries. And Kevin, to add on, I've talked to Pat about this. There's a Hellboy documentary, or it's more like a Mike Mignola documentary. I think it's on Max, maybe, but it's fantastic too.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's really well worth watching. I think you would enjoy it personally, and also as something to review. So
okay.
I think it's called Drawing with Monsters or something like that. Drawing Monsters. Okay, so
yeah, I think I did see that. I didn't know what it was about though. Yeah.
I don't know if my weights failed me here.
Ruh-roh.
This is, I don't know. I guess there he is. He's Orion Pax. Is that like Optimus's original form or something, Kevin?
Bring that picture forward again.
Orion Pax.
Yeah, I don't recall. It's been a while since I saw that.
He looks.
I can't tell if it was your camera or my eyes that were blurry.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to focus very well.
It definitely looks like him though. Definitely looks like an off-brand kind of. You could sell him as a younger Transform or Optimus. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what he looks like. Because his legs are the same and his head's sort of the same. All he doesn't have like the ears Optimus Prime has. So
yeah, because that's one thing Transformers 1 does is shows Megatron and Optimus being buddies, working together on whatever the name of their planet is again. Yeah, so that could definitely be him. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a base, you get hands.
Oh man, it's even the pop out piece model things. Yeah.
But the rest of the pieces are not on sprue. They're just, I'm not gonna dump them out because it's just a whole baggie of bits and bobs in there.
Wow, that is a lot more. I was actually getting ready to call you out and be like,
yeah, I know,
yeah,
right?
just suck it up. It's probably 8 pieces. Just pop it together. You can do it. No, that's definitely way too much. Oh my God.
Oh geez, that's great.
You said that was $5.
That's it's a great value. Okay, so and they're also doing other lines. They announced a Sesame Street line. Apparently there is, well, not apparently, there is definitely a Marvel line, but maybe I think it's potentially being blocked coming to the States because of licensing deals. I think their sweet spot with these blocky figures are like the robotic figures, because like the Iron Man figure I saw, he looks really cool, but like you do like Spider-Man and he doesn't quite look right. Captain America is very good too. But it's because the movie Cap has that more, military armored look to him.
Yeah.
It works better in this form factor. So yeah, I think they're going to be a big thing. Hopefully they won't raise all their pricing, because that's kind of the silly thing too, is because the case is only 9 figures. That's all Walmart had, was one case, 9 figures. Like I said, my good buddy took 3 of them right off the bat. Geez. So the case is probably gone already, Yeah. So they should order more, get a couple cases in, but then they'll end up getting stuck with them. But anyway, just remember, if you're looking for documentaries, don't watch the ironically punk one. It's just not as good.
Oh yeah. That's. Remember, Kevin, you mixed up.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Did I actually say that on the air? That was the pre-show.
That was
mixed
pre-show.
up. Yeah.
Pre-show. That's just a joke for us.
Yeah.
We have to explain it to the other viewers. That makes it even better, right?
Pat, you talk about the guy that took the first 3 and that you've recognized him. when Kevin and I used to go to the stores Wednesday mornings at open. And you remember, I think they were, I don't know if they were friends or brothers, but they would go in, they'd go to the shelf and they'd take the whole stack.
Yeah.
And they'd go over and they'd look through the whole stack because everything they bought, they sent off to be graded. And I just want one copy there. You took the whole stack. Man, they used to annoy the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Drove me up a wall.
Anything that was being called out as some kind of spec hit, first appearance or whatever, they'd go in and grab them all before we'd even get in the door. And that was when we were there early too, not even just a regular shopper going later that afternoon or whatever. Yeah.
Plus,
they go through all of them. They've just gone through all of them, grabbed one, and put them all back. It's like, okay, you just fingered every single book that's on the shelf there.
Yeah.
You leafed through them, and
even worse. Yep.
Yep.
So anyway,
well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Get there earlier, I guess.
We were in line with the door locked.
Were they runners? They ran ahead of you.
No, they would just be there before us. They would get there because we would get there like right before the store opened, like maybe 5 minutes, but they would always be there before we got there. So yeah.
And even if you go in and you get your Troy usually hand us our books, and by the time you made your way back to the new shelf, they were already back there. And whatever hot book was that week, they've already pulled the whole stack.
Yeah.
And they're going through them.
There's still a guy like that every time I do go in to Gateway now. There's anytime I do make it early on an actual release day, there's still a guy like that I see every time that, grabs them. Hey, so you see how this would be better if it weren't for, I sure just cut that off.
Just cut that off.
Yeah.
Cut it off.
Anyway.
Well, check with your wife first, because she may want it.
Right. Yeah, that's if I get it. If I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd cut it off too. I'm not dangling this anywhere.
That's like the Godzilla nano figs that you got us.
Kevin. Yeah.
They're keychains, and I just took the keychain off. It wasn't.
They are keychain.
It wasn't easy, but I took it off.
Oh man, I totally would too. I didn't even realize that because I haven't opened mine.
Yeah, mine's out in the garage on my workbench.
I had to, because you're gonna try to take the keychain part off. You better be at your workbench. Yeah, I had to take Godzilla's spines are like flexible rubber, and I had to take his spines off and then wedge a pair of pliers into his head to pull the base of the keychain eyelet out.
Wow!
But now he's great.
Special bonus thing I just want to talk about. You see right here. Oh man, when I put my finger up, it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
But you see this poster is Capcom. This is Marvel versus Capcom 3, the video game.
Yeah.
Which is an excellent this one here, which is an excellent video game. I just got Marvel versus Capcom Ultima, which was on sale for $7. So I just bought it. Not as good as Marvel versus Capcom 3. So just get this if you're looking to get a Marvel versus Capcom game. Just side note.
All right.
Gotta mention that. I'm actually in a fight mode this week. I actually didn't play. I don't think I played Rivals at all this entire week, shockingly enough.
I played Madden 2010 yesterday.
2010?
Yeah, Mark wants all the Madden games. So we're looking on eBay. And I got them 2010. It was like shipped. It was $6. So it's the one with Troy Polamalu and I think then Larry Fitzgerald on it. Pretty awesome.
I think I might actually have one too. Then I just need to give that to him.
Oh, he would love it. He'd be over.
Yeah, it's up. I think it's up at Karen's house though, which we're getting ready to go up to next week next week. So.
All right. I have those Catwoman books for her. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, lots of things to do. Okay, cool. I think that's all I had for actual recap too.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
All right, cool. Let's see if I can roll through this without Karen. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications of everything we post. Follow Xcellar Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and follow Xcellar_comics on TikTok. Check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics, and then watch our shows on the Whatnot app at Xcellar Comics as well. And I've got a statement I'm making. I'm changing formats because I feel like me putting my shows off is partially because my prep for the format is just too time consuming for me. And right now I don't, with the new season just starting, I mentioned a million times, I'm a lawn care guy. I just haven't had the time to prep. So I'm changing the format this week to where it's going to be basically no prep involved, super simple. So I do have one show still scheduled right now. You can bookmark that. That I will use as the next show I start. And it's actually scheduled for next Saturday, but I'm hoping to be able to get at least 2 shows in during the week based on this new format idea I have. So like I said, please go to the Whatnot app and follow Xcellar Comics there, bookmark the show. And then you can help support the show and everything we do and plan to do through Patreon at patreon.com/Xcellar Comics. Then we've got Cover Combat 11 happening right now, and you can watch Cover Combat 11 Pick 3 Edition Round 5 next Monday, April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be live. And then lastly, join us for our next regular live stream on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook in 2 weeks, or in 2 Sundays is what I put. In 2 Sundays on April 13th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, I worked that out perfectly where I was like, you won't stutter this one. It goes to show me. I'm never going to be able to avoid that. But yeah, that's going to be a Sunday show as well. We're going to be moving back to Saturday after that. But since this has been a music show anyway, it's appropriate to just tell everybody. Mike needs a new record store day or new record.
Yeah,
record store day. Yeah. So there you have it. You got anything else, Mike?
Nope. I'm all good. Fun show today.
Patrick.
Just quickly, Andor is April 22nd.
Oh man. I'm not going to be able to review that for the next show. It's 3 weeks away. Daggum. Okay. Thank you for that update, Pat. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And we appreciate everybody checking us out. And until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome, and reading a great story is a lot of fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Xcellar out.